Live from Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, it's Utah Grizzlies preseason hockey. As tonight, the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads in the second of two preseason games. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyson Whiting. I'll be joined this afternoon by the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, Scott Bradford, as the Grizzlies look for a little bit of preseason revenge. Last night, Idaho got the better of Utah by a 6-2 score, as Hank Crone had the main assist on 3 goals. Thomas Caron was the number one star as he had 2 goals and 1 assist. And he still has got goals from Nick Canati, Roman Rudzinski, and Ty Pelton-Bice. Grizzlies got a good game from Aaron Aragon, who scored 7:30 into the first period. In fact, he had the first goal of the game. And then Idaho responded with 3 unanswered, including 2 Hank Crone assists as he delivered centering passes from the corner, one to Ty Pelton-Bice and the other to Thomas Caron. Jade Miller added a second period goal, 6:25 in to make it 3-1. And then in the third period, Cole Gallant scored for Utah. Gallant had 15 goals last season. He made it a 3-2 game, but Idaho responded with 3 unanswered. Rodzinski, Thomas Caron with his second of the game, and Nick Canati found the back of the net as the Steelheads came away with a 6-2 victory. In the game yesterday, Idaho was 2 for 5 on the power play. The Grizzlies were 1 for 4. We're going to have a different goaltending matchup here this afternoon. For Utah was Jake Barcheski getting the start. He stopped 37 of 43 today. It's going to be Vinny Duplessis. Duplessis played in 2 games at the end of last season, both of them against the Idaho Steelheads. He went 0-1-1, but had a .905 save percentage. For Idaho, they're certainly going to love having Thomas Scholl this season. Scholl was the 2019-2020 league goaltender of the year with the Steelheads. It's going to be Brian Thompson in net. Thompson was one of the workhorses for Idaho last season, so we'll launch out for Thompson. He'll be in net. He's got good size at 6'5" and 183 pounds. Thompson last season was a workhorse, appearing in 35 games with a record of 21-8-3 with a .907 save percentage and 2.90 goals against average. So we got a good goaltending matchup. We got a pretty good matchup here this afternoon. And if you're a Grizzlies fan, that's right, public enemy number 1. I didn't see him out in warm-up, so I believe Hank Crone's going to be a scratch. Didn't see A.J. White as well. The Grizzlies are going to go with pretty much a regular lineup that they would play during the regular season, as Brian Yoon and Derek Dashke make their preseason debuts. We will also see Keaton Mastrodonato, a guy that both fan bases really like. Mastrodonato had 24 goals in 48 games with the Steelheads, and the Grizzlies are certainly excited to have him on their side. He also had 4 goals in 19 AHL games last season. Dylan Fitz didn't play yesterday. He'll be in there once again this afternoon. He had 21 goals and 20 assists last year, including some huge goals. Had a couple overtime game winners, had a hat trick in February against Kansas City. It was the only hat trick by a Grizzlies player all season, so we'll see Dylan Fitz in the Grizzlies lineup as well this evening. Well, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm hanging out here at Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, a beautiful brand new building, holds about 4,200, 4,500, somewhere around there. And we're joined by the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, Scott Bradford. And hey, this is an outstanding arena, and it looks like a pretty good atmosphere for hockey.
It's a wonderful atmosphere for hockey. And of course, with the Spud Kings and the NCDC, it's actually the premier facility of that league. And we're excited to have these 2 teams match up for the second straight year. Last year, a lot of excitement. We didn't have an opportunity. There was some technical issues with doing the broadcast, so I got to enjoy the game from a suite last year. And as you can see, when you scan the crowd, you'll see a lot of supporters for each team here, which you would expect with the geographic position that Idaho Falls in. But hockey is the growth of hockey here in Idaho Falls has really grown exponentially with the population growth and with the support that we've had for the Spud Kings. So we're just excited to have both the Steelheads and the Grizzlies here today.
So I guess you can say that Idaho is hockey is the fastest growing sport in Idaho, and I don't think you need to tell people in the state of Utah twice that hockey is booming in the Salt Lake Valley as well.
Yeah, with the Utah Hockey Club now in the NHL, it's just been fantastic to see that. And I think that's going to spill over up here because we're just a mere 3 hours from Salt Lake. And we're very fortunate. It took a lot of years to get this facility built. There's even plans for an expansion should that be needed in the past. Now, with the Spud Kings early season, we've had several games here at home that have not sold out. However, the next home game is November 8th, and there's only 2 or 3 games the rest of the season that tickets are available for. That's how hot the tickets are here in Idaho Falls.
Oh, that's outstanding. It's a great place to spend a winter afternoon, a winter evening. And I know Idaho Falls winters can get a little bit cold, so this is the perfect place to be.
It's definitely not a winter day today, and it's supposed to top out right at 80, but that winter word is on the forecast. And I think Utah is supposed to get the same system coming in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sometime. They've even got snow in the forecast here, so after 80 degrees, we're going to get some snow.
Hey, if you don't like the weather, just wait about 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It will change pretty quickly.
And you've been up here at least during the summers.
I spent one summer here in 2018 with the Idaho Falls Chuckers.
Yeah, and that was of course, summers up here are wonderful. They're just beautiful. But we're excited to have this game.
It's going to be a ton of fun here this afternoon. It's the Grizzlies and the Steelheads. One of the best rivalries in the league will heat up this afternoon. We'll see if the Grizzlies get a little bit of preseason revenge after a 6-2 Idaho victory in last night's game. Idaho's going to sit some of their big guns while the Grizzlies are going to have pretty much a full deck for this afternoon. When we come back, we'll go over the lineups for both teams as we're in business on a Sunday afternoon, and you're listening to the Grizzlies Audio Network.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. Shop over 50 new Kia Sorentos with savings up to $4,500 off at Jerry Seiner Kia, South Jordan.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Expectations here will always remain high, and we'll continue to find a way.
Guys put together a lot of good games,
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Face-off is in about 5 minutes from now here at Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls. Don't forget, we're just 5 days away from opening night. That's right, the Grizzlies will be at Idaho Central Arena for the regular season opener. That's going to be on Friday, October 18th. It's going to be a ton of fun. Get your tickets for the Steelheads game, and obviously very few tickets are remaining for the home opener for the Steelheads. And for the Grizzlies, the home opener is going to be on November 1st as they take on the Allen Americans in the first of a 2-game series. Opening weekend, at least the home opening weekend for the Grizzlies, November 1st and 2nd, is presented by Smith's. Let's go over the lineups for both teams. First, for the homestanding Utah Grizzlies. That's right, the Grizzlies are acting as the home team here in the state of Idaho. They are led by fourth-year head coach Ryan Kanasowicz, who's the all-time leader in goals, assists, and points in team history. The assistant coach in his second season is Christian Horn. We'll go over the starters since we have them for Utah. Keaton Mastrodonato, who had 24 goals in 48 games with the Steelheads last season. He's on an AHL contract with the Colorado Eagles, and he'll be starting on the left wing. Mastrodonato did not play in last night's game. We will have Luke Manning, who had an assist last night, and he was pretty good. Him on that line with Aragon and Messner. Luke Manning will be in there. It's his first full season as a pro, the native of Stillwater, Minnesota. And we will also see Dylan Fitz in the starting lineup. He'll be on the right wing. Fitz is 6'2" and 203 pounds. It's his fifth season as a pro. Other forwards for the Grizzlies include Neil Shea, who had 18 goals with Newfoundland last season. Cole Gallant, one of the best distributors. He was third on the Grizzlies in assists last year. He'll be in there, as well as Briley Wood. That's the second forward line, Shea, Gallant, and Wood. We will also see Craig Armstrong in his first full season as a pro. Actually, he's a pure rookie. He didn't play as a pro last season. He was in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League last year. He'll be wearing number 3. Tyson Upper, his name is my name too, the University of Calgary product, will be the third-line center. We will also see Mick Messner in there. Messner in his second full season as a pro. He played in all 72 games last season. We also see Aaron Aragon, who was a star last night. He scored a first-period goal and generally looked pretty good with his heart and effort, and looks like he's a little bit faster this year. He'll be paired up with Neil Shea as well as Blake Wells. That's going to be the fourth forward line for the Grizzlies this afternoon. So starters once again are Masho Donato along with Manning and Fitz. Starting defensive pairing is going to be a different one. Both Brian Yoon and Derek Dashke did not play in last night's game, but they're going to be the starting defensive pairing. Yoon was a plus 11 for the Grizzlies last year, which led the club. In mid-January, he was loaned to the Hartford Wolfpack, and we didn't see him the rest of the year as he ended up sticking in Hartford, scoring 2 goals in 18 games. As for Derek Dashke, he's a guy I'm very excited to see. 6'2", 194 pounds out of Troy, Michigan. Dashke finished tied for second among all league defensemen with 16 goals last season. He also has pro experience with the Toledo Walleye, scoring 1 goal and 6 assists in 10 games. At the end of the 2022-23 season, he played 4 years at Miami of Ohio and also spent the 2022-23 season, his senior year, at the University of Minnesota Duluth. So starting defensive pairing again is going to be Yoon and Dashke. The other defensemen will include Gianni Fairbrother and James Shearer, as well as Cade Jensen and Kabori Dunn. Dunn, a first-year pro, 22 years old, 6'2", and 180 pounds. So that's the defensive pairing, Yoon and Dashke, as well as we will see Jensen and Dunn, and James Shearer will be paired up with Gianni Fairbrother. Starting goaltender for the Grizzlies, I got him listed as number 34, but guess what? He'll be wearing number 35 this afternoon. Vinny Duplessis, who last year played at Quinnipiac College, and he had a very solid season at Quinnipiac. Before that, spent 3 years at Boston University. Last year at Quinnipiac, Duplessis had a record of 21-7-2 with a .914 save percentage and 2.02 goals against average. So Duplessis is going to be the starter in net. Jake Barcheski will be the backup. Idaho takes the ice. They are led by fifth-year head coach Everett Sheen, and it's going to be Brian Thompson coming out and starting in net. Thompson is 22 years old, 6'5", 183 pounds out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and he's got an AHL contract with the Texas Stars. Scott, we're able to find the starters for the Idaho Steelheads. We'll find out one way or another, I guess.
Well, when they line up, we'll find out. Unfortunately, the team nor any of the staff in our broadcast booth has been able to find any information out. So I think they forgot to submit them to the booth.
The 3-time award winner, Cam McGuire, is off this weekend. He's out on assignment. So we'll find out who's starting for Idaho soon enough. But we do know the Grizzlies starters. There are going to be a couple subtractions. I didn't see Hank Crone out there for warm-ups, and Crone's going to be a superstar for the Steelheads. He had 3 main assists in last night's game. I also didn't spot A.J. White, and I don't think I saw Ty Pelton-Weiss either. I believe the starters for the Steelheads are milling around on the ice, and it looks like Patrick Kudla and Matt Register, the starting defensive pairing. For my money, that's probably the best defensive pairing in the league. Kudla was first-team All-League, and he was the defenseman of the year. And Register was second-team All-League. Register's an assist machine. Watch out for him, particularly on Idaho's power play. So starting defensive pairing is going to be Patrick Kudla and Matt Register. Looks like we also have Connor McEachern starting for the Steelheads, wearing number 29. McEachern, the former Wichita Thunder skater. Mark Over, the 36-year-old who's got 3 years of NHL experience with the Colorado Avalanche, 74 games worth of NHL experience. He'll be in there. And it looks like Thomas Cron is also in the starting lineup. Cron was the #1 star last night with 2 goals and 1 assist. So once again for these Steelheads, the starting defensive pairing is Kudla and Register. Starting forwards are Mark Over, along with Lyndon McCollum. Make that Connor McEachern and Thomas Cron. We will also see a lot of Lyndon McCollum wearing number 19 for the Steelheads this afternoon. Well, let's pause for our national anthem as a good crowd's filing in here on a Sunday afternoon at Mountain America Center.
Whose broad stripes and broad
That's our national anthem here on a Sunday afternoon as we're grooving here as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads for the second and final preseason game. We are just 5 days away from the regular season for both teams. The Grizzlies will face the Steelheads on Friday night for the first of 72 games in the regular season. These teams will meet 10 times during the regular season, 3 at Idaho and 7 over at Maverick Center. Got a good goaltending matchup. Vinny Duplessis gets the start in net. He's 6'1" and 178 pounds out of Quebec. It's his first full season as a pro. Brian Thompson gets the start for the Steelheads. As the Grizzlies here on this audio broadcast will be skating from right to left as we see it from high atop section 119, I believe. Is that where we're at? Section 119?
We're in 119 in the corner.
We're hanging out with Scott Bradford, the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings here this afternoon. Mark Over will take the draw for Idaho. His father was the head coach of the 2004 Kelly Cup champion Steelheads, John Over. Luke Manning will take the draw for the Grizzlies. He's out there with Mastro Donato and Fitz as the draw won by the Steelheads. Matt Register will tattoo it off the far boards. We're underway as the Grizzlies wearing a black jersey with white numbers, professional green trim. Luke Manning in neutral ice dumps into the near corner slowly. Cubley gets hit in the back by Mastro Donato. Manning surveys. Puck goes to Register behind the Idaho net. Register looking for the home run pass. Instead chips it about 20 feet in front of him. As the Steelheads enter the attack zone, Mark Olver's on offside as Thomas Caron got there before the puck. As we get our first whistle, 26 seconds into the game.
Well, just a little hesitation there forced the offside. And you mentioned the crowd. This is actually, if you know, as the camera pans around, this is the least amount of people you'll see at a hockey game this year. Part of it's the weather and part of it's a Sunday afternoon game.
Yeah, it's an NFL Sunday as well. We'll go over some scores during the intermission. As Utah wins the draw, they got the same 5 on the ice. Brian Yoon pitches ahead as Dylan Fitz will move it over to Manning. Left wing pass to Mastro Donato hits off the end board, the near boards as the Grizzlies dump it all the way in. Jade Miller gets hit in the back by Yoon. As Miller danced around, he had a goal in last night's game. It's his third year with the Steelheads. Will get it to Stanislav Demon, who backhands it towards the near side. Now the Steelheads get out to neutral ice. It's poked away by Briley Wood, number 14. Steelheads into the zone. Brendan Hoffman, centering pass, shot goes just wide as they found Lyndon McCollum in front of the net. McCollum over on the left point. Skeet towards his right, and he'll exit the zone as Neil Shea was shadowing him. Shea, number 22, first year with the Grizzlies, last year with the late Newfoundland Growlers. Jade Miller smartly doesn't touch the puck as he was coming off the ice. Would have been too many men. Grizzlies enter the attack zone as Shea will bounce it off the glass and get around a defenseman. That's Trevor Zins, number 2 for Idaho. As the Steelheads run up to the high slot. Sure keeps the nail. Take a lefty shot. It's blocked away by the stick of a Steelhead as Idaho will lift it out to neutral ice, and the puck will slide deep into the Grizzlies zone. Running after it's Gianni Fairbrother, wearing number 24, number 3 with the Grizzlies last year. Over to Briley Wood, who taps it off the skate of Gallant. Idaho at their line as Kanadi will push it to C.J. Walker, who dumps it in deep. Duplessis behind his net will throw it to the far side. Running after it, Svetlikov. His first name is Blake, first-year pro, played in the WHL last season. Up top for Rodzinski, he'll move it across to Kanadi, who was a forward last night. Looks like he's a defenseman this evening. As Sam Sternshine gets up top, Steelheads will bounce it off to Eric Olson, number 92. He didn't play last night. He's on a tryout deal. He played with Stevenson University in the NCAA. As Fairbrother dumps it deep into the Steelhead zone and got redirected by Kanadi's stick. As Craig Armstrong collides with Kanadi, both guys wearing number 3, both about the same size. Right point, Kabori Dunn fires a shot that goes wide. Armstrong around the net looking for Mick Messner. Messner fans on getting it out to Dunn as he gets hit along the far glass. Idaho out to neutral ice, crossing center, and dumping it in is Brian Chambers, who played at Arizona State last year. He also spent some time at Kalamazoo, where he was a teammate of Dashke. Idaho in the attack zone over to the left side as Caron backhands over to Chambers. He takes a shot, gets tripped up as he was taking the shot penalty. And Blake Wells throws over to Kabori Dunn. Wells, in his first full season as a pro, he played in 3 games at the end of last season. Kay Jensen moves out to center ice for Aaron Aragon, who dumps it in. He dumped it in from Grizzlies territory, so icing is called with 17:05 left in the first.
Well, Chambers had a wonderful look there right in front of the net. And it looked like he did get tripped up, but there was no call. So apparently from the referee's position, there was, no illicit contact there, but wonderful opportunities. He cut from the left to the right there.
Idaho's one of those teams. They don't beat themselves, and they make very smart decisions with the puck. Tyson Upper will take the draw. It's his first season as a pro. He played at the University. Wins the draw, and they'll backhand it towards the backboards as Over, the 36-year-old, 74 games of NHL experience, 10 NHL goals, gets up top to Kudla. Back to McEachern, who moves it across to Register over the left side. Register shadowed by Aaron Aragon. They were teammates briefly last year. Aragon pokes it away. And this will toss off the near board. Blake Wells got held up by Cudla. Wells spins around to the slot, takes it back. Shot! Thompson. What a move by Wells to create a scoring chance, splitting the double team of minutes and still no score. Grizzlies have taken 2 shots. Idaho has taken 1 as Register is camping up. They get Stam Sternshine out there. Sternshine didn't play in last night's game as they'll bounce off the near boards of the Idaho line. Dylan Fitz tries to get around Demon. Demon will roll it towards Thompson. Thompson covers up as we get a whistle with 16:11 left in the first.
Kind of have a place in my heart for Olver as being at his age with some NHL experience. I kind of cheer for the old guys being 60 myself. And occasionally getting out on the ice on the adult league here. It's good for the old guys to get out there.
So I won't complain about being 37 and feeling old, even though I'm still older than Over. As the draw won by the Grizzlies, Derek Dashke. Left point, lefty shot is blocked away. Puck goes back to the Utah line. Keaton Mastrodonato in the Grizzlies zone does a half circle towards the right side. Now he gets a new try, so he'll push it ahead to Manning, who backhands it in. Thompson plays behind his net. It glanced off at his stick. Steelheads push it to the near side. Idaho races to new tries. Grizzlies back defensively. Manning delivers a hit on Hoffman as puck ends up back deep in the Steelhead zone as Thompson plays behind his net. Thompson's got an AHL contract with the Texas Stars. As the Steelheads dumping in from center ice, racing after it's Cole Gallant. He gets hit by C.J. Walker as Dashke will push it towards Briley Wood along the far boards. Wood diagonal pass as Masha Donato got hit by Thomas Cron and couldn't accept it. Steelheads run it down deep in their own zone. Nick Canadi, who was a forward last night, playing on defense this evening. As the Steelheads bouncing off the near boards. Sure, across to Fairbrother off the wall. Wood gets hit in the back. Idaho gets it back at their line as Thomas Cron, who's a very strong player, might be the strongest on the Steelheads, will skate towards the near side horizontally. Now he'll skate behind Idaho's net. He'll push it to the far side for Canadi, who's about as tough as it comes, despite being maybe the smallest Steelhead. Idaho tattoos off the far board. Sure has a tap off his stick, and it flies out of play into the concourse area. Somebody's getting some popcorn right now, and hey, what do you know? I got a puck.
A puck dribbling down the stairs there. It's interesting. If you had to do an assessment of the first 3 minutes, I would say the Steelheads really skated with more energy, but that's kind of turned around in the last couple of minutes. Seen Utah really dictate the play to the Steelheads.
Head coach Ryan Kanasowicz loves having a team with speed, and he really likes the team speed of this year's Grizzlies. Draw one by Upper and one by Upper as he took the draw against Brian Chambers. As Fairbrother will bounce off the near glass. Grizzlies run it down. McMester, left side sharp angle shot saved by Thompson about shoulder high. Steelheads come back the other way. Idaho lifts it ahead. Sure tried to play it with a high stick, didn't make contact. Fairbrother runs it down as he gets a good shoulder check from Lyndon McCollum. Centering pass to Brian Chambers. Backhand shot goes over the crossbar. Chambers runs it down. He'll throw it to Cudla in the right point across the Register. Matt Register, left circle. Shot is blocked away by Armstrong. Register with the long stick. Gets it towards Eric Olson. Centering pass to McCollum, who swings and fans on it as the puck glides slowly towards the far corner. Armstrong up ahead as he battles with Chambers. Chambers in the attack zone for Idaho. As it still heads, McCollum gets up top to Register, gets the hot pass. He moves it across to Cudla, last year's League Defenseman of the Year. Cudla makes a move, centers to McCollum, glance off his skate. Now over to Chambers. Shot is blocked away by Tyson Upper as Chambers didn't get much on it. Grizzlies clear it out to the Idaho line.
Well, Chambers has been in the right spot several times there and almost had a goal.
Might be fresh after not playing in last night's game. As Register rolls it along the boards, Hoffman battles with Shearer. Now gets up top to Cudla. As Shearer pokes it away, Hoffman keeps it in. His shot is blocked away by Wells' stick. Puck goes to Max Neal, skates down the middle. Neal crosses center ice, steps over the line as he gets back checked by Over. Neal fires towards Thompson, who makes a routine save. And after the whistle, a little bit of pushing towards Blake Wells, who was trying to hustle after a rebound. No score, 13:37 left in the first period. Grizzlies have 5 shots to Idaho's 3.
Yeah, that's a good counterattack there. The fact that the Steelheads had some sustained momentum here for quite a while, and then Grizzlies go back and pressure the goaltender, which is what you need to do. Now they force the face-off. If they can win this face-off, get a quick shot.
Grizzlies have their top forward line out there today. Fitz will be on the right wing. Manning will take the center spot. I think there should be a media timeout, and there is. The ice crew comes out. 13:37 left in the first period. We'll be back in 1 minute. No score here on the Grizzlies Audio Network.
Smith's always gives you more ways to save on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Smith's app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons and earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. With a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Smith's.
Having a good time here at Mountain America Center as there's no score. 13 minutes, 37 seconds left in the first. Scott, what stood out to you so far?
Well, both teams have had opportunities. I think what stood out is the Grizzlies able to counterpunch. I guess I'd use that, where, the Steelheads had some momentum for sustained periods, but the Grizzlies has come right back and shown, like you mentioned, good speed.
Idaho wins the draw. They're in their own zone, skating from left to right as we see it from section 119 as Hoffman lets it go past him. Racing after it with the long strides is Cade Jensen, and it's going to be icing on the Steelheads. Good to see Jensen back after sustaining a season-ending injury on November 8th, 2023. I remember last season in the preseason game here in Idaho Falls, Jensen was a star, and really everybody was a star for the Grizzlies that night as Utah ended up winning 6-0.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what, doing the research, he'd only played 4 games for Utah, and I was kind of wondering what the situation was.
He got thrown into the boards against Wichita, awkwardly hit his shoulder, and it was a very unusual type of injury, upper body, but just knocked him out for the rest of the season. As Idaho wins the draw, as Register shuffles it across, as the Steelheads, Patrick Hudlip, long-range pass to the left connects, as the Steelheads enter the zone, as the stick goes flying, and that's a stick of McEachern as he'll go to get a new stick. As this stick broken too, he'll get a stick from the Beast, the equipment manager. Instead, McEachern will come off and CJ Walker replaces him. Master Donato dance around the Utah line. Now move over to the left, drop it for Yoon across to Kavori Dunn. Dunn will toss it and it goes out of play. Grizzlies are in the middle of a line change. I wonder if they got caught with too many. Looks like we're going to get our first penalty of the game as the linesman will ask Ryan Knaswich who's going to go to the box. Looks like the Grizzlies got caught with too many on the ice, making a line change as Master Donato was dancing around the Utah blue line.
Yeah, there must have been some real confusion that time because the play was not even close to the bench area. A lot of times you'll have that too many men on the ice because the player touches as they're making the changes there. But that one was clear on the other side, so they must have had a rotational mix-up.
Idaho's on the power play. Blake Wells will represent the Grizzlies in the box. Utah was caught with too many men. Steelheads were 2 for 5 on the power play in last night's game. And the Steelheads, year in and year out, seem to have a top 3 power play unit in the league. Idaho wins the draw. Grizzlies looking to improve on the penalty kill this season. They were last in the league last year. Goal line shot is blocked away as McCollum was hanging out at the far goal line and fired in on Duplessis as puck ends up flying towards the end boards. McCollum battles with Yoon, and he's being shadowed by Dashke as the Steelheads get it back over to McCollum, who looks to center it over towards Over. It's tapped off the Dashke stick. Down the right side, Idaho keeps it in the zone as it goes towards McEachern. He'll take a shot that goes wide as the lefty shot went over the crossbar as Over battles with Yoon. Yoon trying to hack it away from Over's ankle. Messner couldn't clear it out as 2 Steelheads. One of them falls down at the line as Messner with his hustle is able to get it out of the zone. Idaho resets. Shot from the left point is blocked away by Duplessis, and he holds on as that shot was taken by McEachern. That was McEachern's second shot of this Idaho power play. Both teams will change things up with 1:12 left in the power play and 12:05 left in the first. Still no score.
Really the penalty kill is such a big thing in any league that you're in. You want to be up around that 80% mark. Effective teams are going to be around that mark. And that was a good example here at the blue line. A desperation move got the puck out, even though the Steel had some sustained movement of the puck.
Idaho gets the puck off the draw as CJ Walker behind Utah's net. He'll let it go to the near corner, chasing after its Fair Brothers. He delivers a good shoulder check on Svetlikov As Walker over to Svetlikov, who's back to his feet. He'll feed it to the high slot for Roman Radzinski. Not a normal power play unit for the Steelheads. Now Kanadi near side, dance around just outside the circle. He gets to the near goal line for Walker. Back up top for Radzinski. Over to Kanadi at the right point. Kanadi over to Walker. Tried to center it and didn't get much on it. As the puck taps back towards the near corner, Kanadi backhands it across. Hoffman gets a good shoulder check from Manning, and Manning clears it out. Boy, the hustle last night from Manning, Messner, and Aragon continues here this afternoon, and those guys are going to be keys for the Grizzlies this season. As Idaho enters back into the attack zone, as Radzinski's in the left point, throws it across to Hoffman. Hoffman behind Utah's net, feeds it out in front to Walker. It goes past him onto Aragon, who clears it all the way towards Thompson.
They're really fortunate there. Walker was nobody was on him right in the slot, and just went by his stick.
Blake Wells comes out of the penalty box. A successful penalty kill by the Grizzlies. We're still scoreless. 10:50 and counting left in the first. As Steelheads look to center it out in front. It kicks off a skate. Boy, Idaho was able to get that centering pass in a few too many times last night. And they've gotten a few close chances here this evening, but we're still scoreless. As Kabori Dunn dumps it in. Steelheads skating from left to right. Grizzlies from right to left. Idaho's in a white jersey with black numbers and a little bit of silver on the shoulders as well as the bottom of the jersey, as it's the same uniform combination we had last night. As Idaho crosses center ice, Chambers lofts it in. Puck hippity hops off one hop of the ice onto the end boards of the Grizzly zone as Gallant gets past Kudla. Gallant's got great speed. Utah's numbers. Gallant left side takes a righty shot, and it goes out of play as he was looking for that right corner right above the right shoulder of Thompson and just missed. He missed it by that much.
Yeah, Thompson may have got a piece of the blocker on that one. Regardless, it went up in the stands. But, yeah, that was a close call right there.
Grizzlies utilizing their speed, and Cole Gallant might be the fastest of them all. Last season in 68 games, had 12 goals and 35 assists. The 35 assists were third on the Grizzlies. Draw one by Idaho. Steelheads won quite a few faceoffs here early on. First half of the first period. We're exactly halfway through. Idaho 2-on-2. Enters the attack zone. Thomas Caron takes a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Dashke's stick. Now Idaho feeds it out in front. The puck hipping hops towards Briley Wood. He'll fly the puck into the Steelhead zone. Neil Shea runs it down in the far corner. He'll roll it around to Wood. Briley Wood gets pushed along the wall. Puck goes out towards Mark Olver. Lifts it out to center ice. Unit, the center ice logo, dumps it in, and it's a beautiful looking Spud Kings logo. That brand has certainly become popular here in the Idaho Falls area. Puck out to Neutrise. Grizzlies back up with it as Tyson Upper will tap it off the far glass. Trevor Zins runs it down behind the Idaho net as the Steelheads spread the ice. 9:20 and counting left in the first. Still no score. Steelheads 6 shots to the Grizzlies 5 as Idaho will get it in deep to the Grizzlies zone and make a line change as James Shearer will skate down the middle. He's still in the Grizzlies zone. Now he veers off to the right as he tried to get to McMessner. Messner couldn't get it as he got cut off by Radzinski. No icing. Kanadi trying to get it towards Hoffman as Armstrong gets hit. Action deep in the Idaho zone near side. Now coming out with it is Hoffman. He'll push it towards the middle for McCollum at Neutrise. McCollum steps over the line, veers off to the left. He'll take a righty shot that goes wide. That had a ton of velocity on it, but just fired it over Duplessis' head as the Steelheads will get it out to Neutrise. Nick Kanadi at the Idaho line. We'll do a little bit of a half circle. Now we'll get it over to Hoffman as Brendan Hoffman gets pushed by Dunn and taken off the puck. Armstrong over in the corner, 2-on-2, loses his balance. Now Armstrong gets it back. He played in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League last year. Armstrong over the line, backhands it across. It's picked off by Register as Dylan Fitz nudges it ahead as it's taken back by Register as Fitz got cut off by Lyndon McCollum, who had 3 goals and 2 assists on March 1st against the Grizzlies. And that was a wild game as Idaho ended up winning 8-7. As Register behind his net, 8 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first period. He'll push it towards the near side. Patrick Cudlett with long strides. Gets to center ice, fires it on to Duplessis, who sticks it away back towards the far side. Still heads in the attack zone. Cudlett over towards the high slot. Now Register right side, trying to center. It's tapped by Cade Jensen. Jensen had to Mastro Donato, was behind him. As Mastro Donato was looking towards his left, puck went to his right. Steelheads in their own zone as both teams spread the ice. Steelheads carried out to Neutrise. Diagonal pass to the left. Hits off the stanchion. Walker in. He gets hit by Dunn at the point. Far side as Dylan Fitz gets it ahead, but it's picked off by Kudla. As Idaho resets, Svetlikov down the middle. Tries to split a double team. Puck glides towards Duplessis, and he covers up with 7:26 left in the first.
Well, a lot of back and forth action here. One thing, you're always an expert when you're above Section 119, calling the game. But the one thing I can see with Utah, they seem to be scrambling down low in front of the goaltender. The Steelheads have actually had several really good looks on quick passes there. And if I were the coaching staff, I would probably notice that. And if you can't make an adjustment in play, at least at the first intermission, talk about that and how you can tighten up that defense, because they're getting a man right there, and they've had several passes that are just off the stick.
7:26 left in the first period. Still no score. There's a lot of fun promotions at Maverick Center this season. Don't forget the Grizzlies home opener is going to be on Friday, November 1st. They take on the Allen Americans. In fact, opening weekend, November 1st and 2nd, is presented by Smith's as Utah Grizzlies celebrate their 30th season of hockey in the Salt Lake Valley. Saturday, November 2nd, is Dia de los Muertos, as it's Hispanic Heritage Night, and we'll certainly honor that at Maverick Center. It's a 2-game set against the Allen Americans, and if you want to come watch Allen, yes, they are the ECHL affiliate of the Utah Hockey Club. And then Lake Tahoe comes into town the following week. Pucks and Pups, which is the new version of Pooch on the Pond. Pucks and Pups, bring your dog to the game and enjoy a great night of Grizzlies hockey and dog-friendly activities. That's going to be on Saturday, November 9th, as the Lake Tahoe Monsters, or the Tahoe Night Monsters, will be in town for the first time ever. The Tahoe Night Monsters, they got a pretty good look.
Yeah.
Draws give me the Grizzlies on far side. As Max Snill will take the draw for Utah. He's out there with Blake Wells and Aaron Aragon. The defensive pairing is Derek Dashke and Brian Union. I got a feeling Derek Dashke is going to become a fan favorite with his speed, playmaking ability, and he's got a lethal shot as well. As Utah wins the draw, they skate from right to left as Max Snill will carry it out to new tries. He'll dump it in, but it didn't get very far onto Thomas Karan's stick for Idaho. As Neal and Karan collide, both guys hit the ice. Trevor Zinn's backhands it in as the puck hippity-hops like a spinning top. As Brian Yoon, far side, pushes ahead off Aragon's skate. Max Snill takes it. He gets hit at the Utah line. A horizontal pass connects to Dashke. Dashke over the line, snares over to Wells. Wells with a shot. And saved by Thompson as Grizzlies try to bounce the shot off of Thompson. And it looks like Thompson's covered up as the Grizzlies had some good looks there. Thompson a little bit off balance, but he was able to keep the puck out of the back of the net.
Well, there's some great sustained pressure there in that scramble just on the left side of the net. We'll see if we can get a replay of that action. But several of the Grizzlies had opportunities to stuff that behind the goaltender Thompson. And
he stays scoreless. Both teams have had some good chances.
See the
replay's the big hit there with Neal and Thomas Karan. Karan's going to be a fan favorite in Idaho. He's a physical player. He plays a strong two-way game, and Steelheads fans are going to love him. He played with Norfolk last year and also had some time in the AHL with Manitoba. Steelheads win the draw. Rodzinski moves to the far side as Steelheads get it past Dashke. Puck stays in play. It's Yoon at the Utah line over to Shea, who backhands it back to Yoon. Yoon left wing pass connects to Gallant as Gallant now battles with Nick Canati along the near boards as Idaho comes out with the puck. Steelheads 3-on-2 if they want it as they step over the line. Grizzlies back defensively. Cole Gallant pokes it from McCollum, but the Steelheads are offside. Good job of Utah protecting their blue line and kind of just messing up the timing of the play.
Yeah, Connor McCatcher a little bit ahead of the blue line there on that play. So I like that pressure the Grizzlies just put on just a little while ago, and they need to sustain a little more of that.
Still no score. 6:31 left in the first period. Idaho has outshot Utah 9-6. As Idaho normally year in and year out does a good job controlling the shot count. Utah wins the draw. Gallant throws it into the Steelhead zone. Now Idaho's up with it. Steelheads pass to center ice, connects to McCollum, tape to tape. McCollum skates over the line. Right wing shot is blocked away by Dashke's arm. As Gallant over in the area with Dashke. Dashke takes the puck. Hot pass to Yoon. Connects tape to tape. Back to Dashke across the center ice. Right wing feed to Wood, who tried to get it back to Dashke on the give and go. It's taken away in Idaho. We'll throw it deep into the Grizzly zone. Gianni Fairbrother will toss it back towards Tyson Upper. Long range pass ahead towards Wood. It tapped off of his skate. As Idaho crosses center ice, Steelheads over the attack zone. Grizzlies back defensively as it's poked away by Craig Armstrong as Idaho is looking for a pass to the slot.
Good defense there to not allow that pass.
Eric Olson from the Utah line dumps it in. Duplessis behind his net. Will throw it towards the near corner. Olson, as the puck lifts towards the slot. A lot of sticks in the way. Armstrong's stick broke. Olson's shot is blocked by Shearer. Olson took that shot from the near circle as Hoffman gets taken away by Upper, but it's back to Kudla. Kudla's over to the right side. Backhand centering pass. Bounces off to Shearer. Back to Kudla. Kudla behind the net. Over towards Hoffman. Righty shot goes wide on a one-timer from the right circle. Kudla up top. Miller, one-timer. And it was played with a high stick by Hoffman as Fairbrother will throw it to Upper across to Shearer as both teams spread the ice. Diagonal pass towards Upper at new tries. He gets pushed in the back by Register. Upper and Register hold each other along the far boards near the penalty box area as Idaho will lift it in. Puck bounces off the ice on 2 hops as Idaho behind the net. C.J. Walker on a tryout deal. He'll skate in front. Backhand shot goes wide as he was behind the net. Was looking for a backhand shot and just missed everything high and out of play with 4:41 left in the first.
Yeah, I looked on that as he skated around the net on the backhand. Look, he was going high left side and just lifted it a little bit too much on the backhand. Sometimes you get excited and wanting to go to the top shelf, but good opportunity there for the Steelheads.
4 minutes, 41 seconds left in the first period. Referee tonight is John Lindner. The linesmen are Dominic Valentine and Craig Peterson. Lindner was the referee in last night's game in Boise, and Valentine was there as well. Peterson essentially replaces Scott DeBaugh. Luke Manning stares down Svetlikov. Draw's going to be in the near circle of the Grizzlies zone. Idaho's outshot Utah 10-6. Draw one by Utah. Dunn will get it to Jensen at the near goal line. Jensen will clear it all the way out, and it looks like it's going to be icing on Utah as there's 4:33 left in the first. There's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. We appreciate you choosing the Grizzlies here this afternoon. And Tyson Whiting hanging out with Scott Bradford, the voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have these two teams here, as we've mentioned earlier. And, yeah, a lot of options, and that's this weekend. I mentioned earlier, this is probably the least amount of people you'll see here. It's 80 degrees today, and it's going to snow later this week. So people are out enjoying that last bit of summer.
You got to get that last round of golf in.
Well, I was out in the mountains the last couple of days, and it was packed even on a Thursday, Friday, and out there because people were just wanting to get out and enjoy their recreation.
Draw was at center ice as they determined that it was deflected when Jensen cleared it all the way out for icing, as Grizzlies have it deep in their own zone as Fitz in control of the puck as he gets double teamed. He'll move it around the net for Dunn over to Jensen. Diagonal pass goes past Manning, who chases after at the Idaho line. Manning gets around Demon as it goes towards the backboards. Manning around his net towards the near side as he gets double teamed, even triple teamed over in the corner. Idaho comes out of the pile with the puck. Steelheads out to center ice as they loft it into the Grizzlies zone. Cade Jensen button hooks and gets it to Fitz. Fitz at the Utah line will move to his right. Fitz still has good speed at 31 years old. He gains center ice and he'll wrap it around the wall as Fitz is at the end of his shift. Dunn comes off as Dashke enters. Puck at center ice. Idaho across the center. McEachern, who spent some time with San Jose in the AHL. Left wing pass as a Steelhead sharp angle shot hits the side of the net that was taken by Karan, last night's #1 star. As Mark over towards Radzinski. Radzinski goes down near Aragon. Coming up with the puck is Neal. Max Neal at the left side. Tried to dump it in. It bounced off the Steelhead stick. As we have 3:23 and counting left in the first. Still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 10-6. Nick Canati danced around as Blake Wells looks after him. As Canati moves it ahead as the Steelheads enter the attack zone and flood it towards the near corner as McEachern gets it poked away. Blake Wells comes up with it. Wells will cross center ice, veer off to the right, and backhand it in. As Wells at the end of his shift, he'll come off along with Brian Yoon. As Grizzlies skate in, shot, and looks like Thompson made the save.
Well, that was, when I saw that developing, I thought that was a sure goal because the turnover by the Steelheads there, Grizzlies did a great job picking it up, and they had the man right in front. And let's see if we can get a view right there, point blank, with the left pad.
Well, it was a centering pass there from the near goal line, and Aragon had a good look. Aragon had a goal last night. Rare turnover by the Steelheads. They usually do a good job protecting the puck in their own zone. Grizzlies win the draw. Backhand shot by Neil Shea is blocked. Now Shea in the right side. Shot save. Rebound shot saved by Thompson again. As the puck lifts high into the air, it's banded by Idaho. Taking it as Fairbrother. As Fairbrother gets pinned to the board's right point. Shot by Neil Shea is kicked away by Thompson. Grizzlies in the attack zone. Idaho will move it out to neutral ice. The Steelheads gather it. McCollum skates down the middle. He enters the attack zone as Fairbrother pokes it away. Puck to the right corner as Briley Wood avoids a check by Sternshine. Sam Sternshine, who last season played a little bit with Toledo along with Idaho, as Matt Register moves it across, tapped off a Shearer stick. He'll tattoo it off the near boards. Neil Shea gathers it. Shea's got good speed. Wearing number 22 will get it to Wood down the middle, neutral ice, and Wood will saucer it in. Puck got about 5 feet of air under it as Wood comes off, as Craig Armstrong enters. He's out there with Tyson Upper and Mick Messner as Register behind his own net. 2 minutes and counting left in the first period. Still no score. Register with the long strides gets to the Idaho line. Now he crosses center ice. He'll backhand it in. It's still tapping off the near boards. Kate Jensen gathers it at the Utah goal line. Over to Upper, who avoids an elbow of Eric Olson. Ahead to Armstrong, who races into the Idaho line. Steps over it, gets it to Tyson Upper as Armstrong had to kind of move aside of a check as Idaho takes it away from Messner. Still heads near side, gets to neutral ice. They'll move it across. Idaho gets tapped away by Dunn, who feeds it back to the center ice logo. The only guy there was a Stillhead. He'll tap it off the near side. Idaho dumps it in. Does C.J. Walker as Jensen behind his net will stop behind Duplessis as he gets back checked by Hoffman. Jensen loses his balance. Armstrong in the area as Jensen will bounce it off of Hoffman. Armstrong gathers it and he'll skate behind Duplessis' net. 1:10 and counting left in the first as Armstrong got back checked. He got slashed by Hoffman. Arm is raised by John Lindner as the puck goes to center ice. Idaho touches it up. And it looks like it's going to be a hook on Idaho as Brandon Hoffman will go to the box as he was back checking Craig Armstrong. Looked like he could have called a slash, but hook it's going to be. And Utah's on the power play for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, they called hooking, but it definitely looked like slashing. But the thing is right in front of the referee, and so good opportunity here for Utah. You made mention what the Steelheads had 48 wins last year.
Yeah.
So a good team, and that turnover they had down there, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities when they come against a good team. Let's see if they can do it on the power play right here.
Luke Manning will take the draw. As there's 1:03 left in the first period, it's pucks over on the other corner, so it's harder to see. Utah wins the draw. Brian Yoon dances around the near side. He'll get to the near goal line for Fitz. Fitz skates in, shot saved by Thompson as Fitz was hanging out at the near goal line. Grizzlies over in the far corners. Manning gets it poked away. Idaho will slice along the far wing boards and all the way towards Duplessis. The Steelheads clear it out, and they will get 2 reinforcements on the ice. Brian Yoon skates down the middle. Yoon will throw a right wing pass. It connects to Mastro Donato, who steps over the line. Mastro Donato double teamed along the far boards, gets it back up top to Yoon, across to Manning. Still no score. 28 seconds left in the period as Manning will skate towards his right in front of Yoon. As Manning across to Mastro Donato. Watch out for him on the power play. He's got a lethal shot. Yoon over to the right side, fires a righty shot. Saved by Thompson as it was a low liner, and Thompson was able to gather it and not allow a second chance with 16 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, not a bad opportunity. There wasn't much screening out front. However, he had a man there at the right post and really could have tipped it in. But a good job by Thompson, the goaltender. You don't lose anything because you still have a face-off deep in the zone.
16 seconds left. If the Grizzlies don't score here to end the first period, they will be on the power play for the first minute of the second period. Puck won by Idaho off the draw, and they'll immediately clear it out. So barring a home run pass that connects, looks like we'll be scoreless after one period. Brian Yoon gets it, 5 seconds left. Right wing feed connects to Max Donato. He skates along the line over to the left side. Now he enters the zone, gets around, Register backhand. Shot at the buzzer is blocked away by Thompson. Shot probably wouldn't have counted had it gone past Thompson, but nevertheless, we're scoreless after one period. Idaho outshot Utah 10-9, and the Grizzlies will be on the power play for the first 57 seconds of the second period.
I was really impressed when he was taking up the ice there. I didn't think he was going to get shot across, when he crossed the blue line, but he was able to get it off right at the buzzer there. But, take advantage coming out of the break with 57 seconds of power play.
Obviously, here in the preseason, I think both teams want to have some opportunities where they're working on the penalty kill and working on the power play, in particular for the Grizzlies, who are looking to improve on their penalty kill from last season. And really for the power play, they've got some new weapons. And the weapons change from year in and year out. Like last year, it was Josh Wesley and Brett Stapley and Brandon Cutler who were doing a lot of the damage on the power play. And this year, it's going to be guys like Mastro Donato fits in front of the net. And I think really Utah really likes their options with Derek Dashke and Brian Yoon. They got a lot of options for their power play unit amongst defensemen. I mean, James Shearer and Gianni Fairbrother could also be good finishers on the power play. And so I think for the Grizzlies, they like to work on those sort of things, and that's a good part of what the preseason's all about, is to work on situational hockey.
Well, and I think you also, through your practices and, your familiarity with players, who your primary power play and penalty killers are going to be. However, from week to week, you got people that are injured. You got maybe matchups that don't go, in your favor. So you want to be able to evaluate a number of people in different situations so that when you have to fill in spots and roles, it's pretty much a seamless, rotation.
Especially when you guys getting called up, guys getting sent back down. I mean, the roster from week to week isn't necessarily all that solid. And so having that versatility and having a lot of guys that you can fit into many roles certainly plays a big factor.
And at the league that the Grizzlies and the Steelhead play, and that's much more frequent than it is with the Spud Kings, with the Tier 2 junior, the NCDC. You do have some changes, but it's a little more consistent throughout the season.
We'll come back and recap the first period and also go over some scores from around the world of sports. We're through one period here at Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls. No score as Grizzlies and Steelheads battle for the second time in 2 straight days. Idaho won 6-2 last night. Friday night's going to be the regular season opener as a fan from the blue line just fired the puck.
I think that's the first winner we've had this year.
Yeah, you got that sort of contest where you got the puck, the net getting covered up, a slight hole down the middle, and he was able to get it through.
Yeah, I forget what they win. It's Chick-fil-A sponsors it, but that's the first one so far this year here in the building that's been able to do it.
So he's gonna have to wait till tomorrow to get the Chick-fil-A, I guess.
That's true.
We'll come back and talk some hockey on the other side. We're through one period, and there's no score on the Utah Grizzlies Audio Network.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. We've got over 350 new Kias to choose from. Savings. Shop over 40 new Kia Sportage models and save up to $2,500 off when you buy. Jerry Seiner has been the area's most trusted automotive source for over 40 years. Little wonder then how we've made thousands of friends to last a lifetime. Jerry Seiner Kia, Salt Lake.
At Black Bear Diner, you always get more. More choice, more amazing food, more value, from huge breakfasts to delicious lunches and hearty dinners. Black Bear Diner has more for you. So get more when you want it, the way you want it, and get it today.
Good old-fashioned family food, Black Bear Diner. Black Bear Diner.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. We've got over 350 new Kias to choose from. Savings. Shop over 30 new Kia Seltos models and save up to $2,000 off when you buy. Jerry Seiner has been the area's most trusted automotive source for over 40 years. Little wonder then how we've made thousands of friends to last a lifetime. Jerry Seiner Kia, Salt.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Welcome back to Mountain America Center here in Idaho Falls, as the Utah Grizzlies and Steelheads are no score after one period. Scoring chances are pretty similar. They're in the first 5 or 6 minutes. Brian Chambers had some good looks out in front of the net. For the Steelheads last night, they had a lot of success getting that centering pass out in front. Today, they were able to get that in a couple of occasions. Duplessis has been solid so far. Both teams have had a power play. Grizzlies were pretty good on the penalty kill. As about halfway through the first period, Blake Wells represented the Grizzlies. They were caught with too many men on the ice. Idaho didn't necessarily have the normal power play unit that they would have. They did a good job working the puck around, but the Grizzlies penalty kill was strong, and they're in the last minute of the first period. You can kind of tell, and Steelheads fans know this, seeing Keaton Mastrodonato last year, but Mastrodonato is one of those guys. He can create scoring chances out of nowhere, and really in that final 5 seconds of the first period just kind of skated down the middle, veered off to the left, and was able to create his own scoring chance, which those are always huge. If you can find 5 or 6 guys that can create their scoring chance out of nothing, at times Dylan Fitz can do that when he gets to new trice and finds a seam. Mastrodonato is somebody that I think Grizzlies fans are going to be pretty excited about. He might be one of those guys that kind of jumps up and down with Utah and Colorado, because he played 19 AHL games with the Texas Stars and actually had 4 goals with Texas. And so he's somebody that's really impressed in practice this week, and somebody that I believe is going to have a huge year for the Grizzlies. And that's really part of what this preseason's about, is figuring out who's going to be the top scorers, who's going to be the big guns, because the Grizzlies don't have some of those guys from last year. Brett Stapley and Brandon Cutler are playing overseas, as the case with Josh Wesley, who was a lethal power play option. And Kyle Mayhew, I believe, is now playing in the ECHL with the Fort Wayne Comets. I think Mayhew is a Fort Wayne Comet, and, he's going to be missed. He was certainly a big playmaker. Similar game to James Shearer, not identical, but I think Shearer can replace some of the things that Kyle Mayhew brought to the table, and the top defensive pairing, and they were out there for the Grizzlies power play there to end the first period, and actually kind of a blessing in disguise, having the last minute of the period on the power play, because even if you didn't score, Grizzlies can come back with that same 5-man unit, which, as we saw at the end of the first period, was Yoon along with Messner, Fitz, Mastrodonato, and I think Luke Manning was out there as well. One of the things with Tyler Penner out of the Grizzlies lineup and off the roster, Penner played in 216 consecutive games. He didn't miss a game for the Grizzlies over the last 3 years. In fact, he missed less games than head coach Ryan Kanasowicz, who unfortunately on a couple of occasions had to miss a game, and Tyler Penner never missed. I'm not sure where Penner is playing this year or if he's playing anywhere this year, but one of the things is you knew some of those big face-offs, you were going to see Tyler Penner out there. Who's going to be on the face-off circle? We've seen Luke Manning and Mick Messner take quite a few face-offs. Tyson Upper was decent in the face-off circle here to start the preseason here in the first period. So those are some of the questions that I think Ryan Kanasowicz and Christian Horn are looking to have answered, here in the preseason. And really, I think both teams would love to get some power plays and penalty kill situations. They had an overtime session, which appeared to just be for entertainment purposes, but I think both teams kind of wanted to work on overtime situations as well. I'm not sure if they're going to have that at the end of tonight's game, but that would certainly be big for situational hockey purposes, just kind of to work on quite a few things. Idaho was able to get their top guns out there yesterday, and the Grizzlies have pretty much the lineup they would have on opening night on Friday. That's the lineup they're going with here this afternoon. When we come back, we will go over the scores from around the National Football League as well as some NHL scores. No games are in progress right now. 4 games in the NHL later on today. We'll go over those, and we'll do that in 15 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Welcome back to the Intermission Report. I'm Tyson Whiting. Second period will begin in about 10 minutes of real time. Some finals in the National Football League. The Chicago Bears got a 35-16 victory this morning against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chicago goes to 4-2 on the season. Jacksonville is now 1-5 as Doug Peterson is no doubt on the hot seat. The Jaguars head coach, as Trevor Lawrence has had a tough year. Baltimore gets a 30-23 victory over the Washington Commanders. Both clubs are now 4-2 on the season. Baltimore has won 4 in a row after losing the first 2 games. So the Ravens come away with an interesting 30-23 victory. Matchup of 2 good quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels. Jackson had 323 yards of passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Derrick Henry was my 3rd-round pick in fantasy football, and that might be the best pick of anybody all year, as Derrick Henry looks like he's still got it and then some. 132 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson also added 40 rushing yards. Jaden Daniels, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was the leading rusher for the Commanders with 22 yards. That might have been the difference in the game, as Washington had a tough time running the ball, and Baltimore had all sort of success on the ground with the combination of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So the Ravens get a 30-23 victory over Washington. In a game that was shown locally here in Idaho Falls, I saw the first half. Packers defeat the Cardinals 34-13. Texans go to 5-1 this season. They defeat the Patriots 41-21. Drake May made his first career NFL start with the Patriots. He had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, 243 yards passing. C.J. Stroud had 3 touchdown passes and 192 yards for the Texans in the victory. Texans, as we mentioned, are 5-1 on the season and may become Super Bowl contenders, certainly if the Chiefs fall apart during the second half of the season. Tampa Bay defeats New Orleans 51-27. What an offensive performance by the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield did throw 3 interceptions, but he did have 4 touchdowns and 325 yards of passing. New Orleans was without Derek Carr, getting the start with Spencer Rattler. Rattler, 243 yards passing, 22 of 40, 1 touchdown, but he did have 2 interceptions. The Buccaneers go to 4-2. The Saints are now 2-4. Philadelphia gets a close victory, 20-16 over the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 168 yards for Cleveland. Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and 264 yards for the Eagles. Philadelphia goes to 3-2 on the season. The Browns are now 1-5. Indianapolis defeats Tennessee 20-17. Indy's now 3-3 on the year. Tennessee is 1-4. 4 games in progress. Halfway through the third quarter, the Chargers lead the Broncos 20-0. Also halfway through the third, Pittsburgh leads the Las Vegas Raiders 15-7. Pittsburgh's 3-2 on the season. Vegas is 2-3. About set to go to halftime, the Falcons have a 22-17 lead over the Carolina Panthers. And late first half, the Dallas Cowboys defensive unit appears to really miss Dan Quinn, their old defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach in Washington. At the half, Detroit leads Dallas 27-6. Lions are firing on all cylinders, and the Cowboys really are struggling on the defensive side of the ball. So that's the NFL scores. We have 4 NHL games tonight as we take a look at those who are living out the dream. At 4 o'clock, Minnesota and Winnipeg will do battle. Winnipeg is 2-0 on the season. Minnesota is 1-0-1. At 6 o'clock, Seattle is at Dallas. Dallas is 2-0. Seattle's 1-1. Also at 6 o'clock, Calgary takes on Edmonton. Bit of a slow start to Edmonton, who lost last night to the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2. Calgary is 2-0. And at 8 o'clock, Anaheim is at the Vegas Golden Knights. Anaheim is 1-0 this season. Vegas is 2-0. Tomorrow there will be some afternoon games, and that includes the Utah Hockey Club as they will face the New Jersey Devils, that being at 11 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock tomorrow, the Grizzlies NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, take on the New York Islanders. Avalanche are looking for their first win of the season as they are just 0-2 on the year. We'll come back and talk some hockey and have second period action here from Mountain America Center as we're still looking for the game's first goal. Shots were pretty close to even. Steelheads with 10 and the Grizzlies 9. Remember, Utah will be on the power play for the first 57 seconds of the second period. You've been listening to the Utah Grizzlies Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? selection. Shop over 50 new Kia Sorrentos with savings up to $4,500 off at Jerry Center Kia, Salt Lake.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Always gives you more ways to save on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Smiths app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons and earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. With a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Smiths, fresh forever.
Schwab tires. I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab tires.
We're having a good time here at Mountain America Center. Second period will begin in about 3.5 minutes. I'm Tyson Whiting here on the Grizzlies Audio Network, hanging out with Scott Bradford. He's the normal voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. And Scott, what stood out to you in the first period?
Well, I think it's obviously the Grizzlies held in there. They withstood several onslaughts here right in front of their net. There were several close calls. They were able to counterpunch and get some opportunities at their end. Now, they're starting off the second period with about a minute roughly of power play. So last night they lost. So it's important, I think, for the team to have a strong start to the second period, to be able to get that initial goal and kind of you get over the hump, you know. Yeah. And once you do that, the goals come easier. But Steelheads play good defense, so you got a lot of a big hill to climb there. But I think that would be what stood out to me now that we're going into the second period, is just an opportunity now for the Grizzlies to take that step and get a little momentum.
We'll see if they can find a way to isolate Keaton Mastrodonato and get him a good look, as Utah feels like they've got two pretty good power play units. We're in this outstanding building. There is a bit of a connection between the Grizzlies and the Spud Kings. They're owned by the same people. The Elmore family, which owns the Grizzlies, also has control of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, as well as the Pioneer League's Idaho Falls Chuckers.
Yeah, there is that connection. And, we mentioned earlier, of course, the Utah Hockey Club, when the NHL now coming to Salt Lake. And there's just on the swell, really, of interest in the sports world and the hockey world. And so great ownership group. The fans here in Idaho Falls are really have embraced the Spud Kings. And I think the Grizzlies as well. So it's be interesting. I grew up in Kansas City, and back in the day, they had an NHL expansion team, and that was the Scouts. And I believe they're New Jersey Devils now. They
I think so.
Changed. But when they left, hockey just wasn't an NHL. Kansas City wasn't a market. But every year they would have a preseason game like this come to Kansas City. It was always the Blackhawks and the Blues. And being in the Midwest there, half the stadium was Blackhawk fans and half was Blues fans. You talk about some rivalries, some fights in the stands, some other things that went on. So in a much more subdued, that kind of reminds me of this preseason game here. And we hope this continues to be a yearly thing. This is the second year that this has been done, and because there is a lot of interest for it.
Yeah, it seems to be quite the success. Kansas City is a team that does play in the ECHL, the Kansas City Mavericks. In fact, they won the Western Conference last year, getting all the way to the finals. We'll see if the Mavericks can duplicate that this season, as both teams are headed to the ice here to start the second period. Kansas City's certainly going to be a threat, and I think, if you get that sort of ownership group, and really that seems to be the biggest thing, I think Kansas City does have the type of market. It can support an NHL franchise.
Yeah, it's been talked about. Anytime the NHL talks about expansion, or even when, of course, the Phoenix franchise or the Arizona franchise was looking possibly to move, Kansas City was always brought up. It's kind of an interesting town. I mean, of course, big baseball town with the Royals, who just lost to the Yankees, and of course, football in the last 6 years have been very good in Kansas City for that.
Very, very, very good.
Well, I was 5 years old when Kansas City in January of 1970 won their first Super Bowl. I had to wait 50 years for the next one, but it's happened 3 times since. So,
it was well worth the wait.
It was well worth the wait. Yes, it was.
Here in the second period, the Grizzlies are going to be skating from left to right as we see it from section 119 here at Mountain America Center. To start the second period, it's going to be Cole Gallant taking the face-off. He's out there in Aragon. Briley Wood. Also see Derek Dashke out there taking the draw for Idaho's Mark Olver. Olver wins the draws. Patrick Cudla backhands it towards center ice. Grizzlies reset the attack. Dashke quarterbacking the power play unit as he's got Gallant cutting to his right and Aragon to his left. Dashke skates down the middle. He gets to center ice. Right wing pass connects to Wood. Briley Wood, first-year pro, played in the WHL, had a breakout year last year. Gets it picked off by Cudla, who clears it out to center ice. It hits off somebody on the Grizzlies bench, and that stops play with 19:36 left in the first period. Make that 19:38 left in the second period. Right now the scoreboard still has us listed as the first period.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw the linesman raise the stick like it was played with a high stick. I'm not sure what that.
Yeah, it might have been over there near the Grizzlies bench area. Maybe it was somebody on the Grizzlies bench.
Oh, it could have been, yeah.
Draws a neutral ice. Steelheads territory. Near circle. Gallant will take the draw. Wins it. Dashke across to Neil Shea. Shea wearing number 22, trying to get towards Aragon as he was entering the attack zone. Idaho gets it and clears it out. Dashke near side gathers the puck wearing number 5, 6'2", 194 pounds. Outstanding skater. As Dashke skates down the middle, still in the Grizzly zone, drops it off for Gallant. Gallant maybe the fastest fall. The Grizzlies cross the center ice, trying to get towards Dashke, fanned on it, and Patrick Cudla will slide it all the way deep into the Grizzly zone.
Well, very effective defense that time by the Steelheads is at the blue line, not allowing a clean entry pass there.
Power plays over as out of the box is Brendan Hoffman. Grizzlies at neutral ice. Fairbrother crossing center ice, steps over the line, and one hands it towards the corner and chases after it as he gets around Stanislav Demon. As Fairbrother delivers a good hit on Trevor Zinn's right side shot is blocked away by Thompson. Asher Donato and Fitz were in the shooting area of that one. As Hoffman battles with Manning. Manning will swing it around the boards. Dylan Fitz battles with McEachern. Puck goes to the right point for sure. Back to Fitz. Fitz over to Masher Donato. One-timer's blocked away about 10 feet in front of Thompson. As McEachern gets double-teamed over in the corner with Masher Donato and Manning. As Idaho comes out of the pile with the puck, it's Hoffman at center ice. As a tap, puck lifts into the Grizzly zone. Hoffman with a righty shot that goes wide from the left wing. Now Hoffman gets it back. He'll take a shot, and it's blocked by Fairbrother's stick. As Masher Donato avoids a check at Jade Miller. As Miller gets pushed by Fairbrother. Fairbrother with a very physical shift. Miller gets up top. Demon over to Trevor Zinn's high slot. Righty shot is blocked. Might have hit a teammate and C.J. Walker. Grizzlies tapping off the glass. It flies high into the air and bounces at neutral ice. Grizzlies step over the offensive line. Luke Manning centers the Fitz who couldn't handle it. As towards the near boards, Kabori Dunn hustles after it. And still throw up behind Idaho's net as Zins collides with Manning. Demon comes out with the puck. They'll right wing it out to center ice for Hoffman, who floats it in. As Dunn behind the Grizzlies net, one-on-one battle. Dunn comes out of it, skates towards the near side. Dunn keeping his head up, throws it towards the middle for Armstrong at neutral ice. Left wing backhand pass connects to upper over to Armstrong. Armstrong over in the corner gets hit by Canati. Both guys wear number 3, about similar sized. As McCollum battles with Messner, puck goes up top. Jensen keeps it in. Left side shot is blocked away by Armstrong. As Armstrong was looking to redirect it, Armstrong gets it poked away by Rodzinski. As Walker battles with Dunn, Grizzlies will loft it towards the backboards as Canati rolls it to the near side. Armstrong pitches it out to upper, trying to get to Messner. It's tapped away by Miller. Armstrong keeps it in, throws it across to Dashke. Shot gets redirected and goes wide as it bounced off the Messner. Messner gets pushed by Jade Miller. Idaho comes out to center ice. Brodzinski will dump it in. Boy, close call there on the redirection.
That was. It's pretty interesting. They couldn't get anything going on the power play, but they've had several really good opportunities on a 5-on-5 play.
Grizzlies offside as they're trying to get it to Blake Wells down the middle. And really for the Grizzlies, after that power play ended, looks like 2 minutes of pretty good hockey.
Oh, they played very well. It was kind of interesting. Armstrong had that opportunity in the left circle. I thought he was going to take the shot, but he dropped the pass and nobody was there. And that was another good look they could have had.
Idaho wins the neutral zone draw. Kudla across the register. He'll loft it ahead for Eric Olson. Olson on a tryout deal. Played at Stevenson University last year. Calgary, Alberta native. Grizzlies under the attack zone. Wells backhand shot. Hits the side of the net. Wells skates around the net and rolls it back towards the near side. Register has a tap off his stick. Aragon gets it rushed away by Register as Aragon now battles over in the corner with Max Neal. Eric Olson comes out with the puck. He'll throw it towards the middle as Idaho across center ice. As they tap it off the near boards, as Brian Chambers, who was active in the first period in front of the net. Puck deep into the Grizzly zone as Duplessis looks over his left shoulder. As coming up with the puck is Brian Yoon, who's behind Utah's net. A stick goes breaking, and that was a Grizzly stick in Max Neal. As Idaho gets over to the left side, around the net, looking for the wraparound. Instead, they carry it over. Now centering pass to Kudla. Shot to score as Kudla finds Brian Chambers. Chambers was a star in the first period, and he gets the first goal of the game with 15:52 left in the first.
Yeah, Chambers was left all alone there off the left post, and a beautiful feed. And really, it left the goaltender no chance there. He didn't have it. The way he had to move across the goal, there was no way he was going to get that pad over there.
They just were able to get Brian Yoon off balance, and Brian Chambers, who played at Arizona State University, and also spent some time with the Kalamazoo Wings. He had no goals in 10 games with Kalamazoo. If it were a regular season game, it would be his first as a pro. I guess it is his first as a pro here in the preseason. He had 4 goals in 38 games with Arizona State last year. Before playing at Arizona State last year, had 4 seasons at UMass Lowell. As puck back deep into the Grizzlies zone, 4 minutes in. As puck ends up clearing all the way out towards Brian Thompson. Thompson behind his net. As Stanislav Demon will roll it to the far side. Demon played with 3 different teams in this league last year. McEachern flies along the left wing, steps over the line, and he'll drop it off. Shot saved by Duplessis as the shot was taken by Thomas Caron. Caron drags down a Grizzly, and that's going to be a penalty as Caron just held up the Grizzly, and that was James Shearer. And so it looks like Thomas Caron goes to the box, and the Grizzlies will be on the power play for the second time this afternoon.
Yeah, Caron played for Norfolk last year. Just got a little bit too aggressive with that play. Again, now a golden opportunity. You've just given up a goal on really a good play by the Steelheads. So now as the Grizzlies, you got a chance on the power play. They were able to convert a power play last night, I believe.
Yep, they did get a power play goal last night.
So this is your opportunity to even it up.
Messner will take the draw against Svetlikov. Idaho wins the draw. They'll slice along the near wing boards and all the way towards Vinny Duplessis as they're able to clear it out. Duplessis behind his net will drop it for Brian Yoon. As Yoon skates down the middle, now he gets to Neutrice left wing. Yoon veers up to the right, gets around Fitz, enters on side over to Mastro Donato, who feeds out in front. Shot saved by Thompson. Boy, Mastro Donato with a great pass out in front to Messner. Messner's shot was gloved by Thompson about chest high.
Yeah, that was perfect positioning and a beautiful pass there to get it to him. Thompson was squared up and was able to knock it down. As we see here, the pass going just right there.
By Mastro Donato, one of the quicker players in the Grizzlies, and Steelheads fans know what an impact he'll have this season. And Messner, a guy that could score about 20 goals this year for the Grizzlies. He had 15 last year. Grizzlies keep the same 5 on the ice. Utah wins the draw. Yoon in the high slot over to Mastro Donato. He's the left point, dances around Mastro Donato, fakes a shot, drops it off for Yoon. Yoon lays it for Mastro Donato in the high slot. Back over to Yoon, over to Messner down the middle. His shot's blocked by the skate of Demon, and Svetlikov will clear it out.
Well, much better power play this time than they had last time. Those opportunities are coming. They're able to move the puck a little bit and gain some control.
Mastro Donato lays it for Yoon at center ice. Left wing pass connects to Manning. Manning floats it out in front of the net, looking for Yoon. Yoon was cutting towards the net. Puck ended up all the way towards Thompson, who covers up.
Right, good job by Yoon to come in from his defensive position on the left, toward the left post there. Nothing wrong with that because you either get a tip, you're going to get it to him on a tip, or you're going to get a cover up and get the face off.
Grizzlies switch up skaters. Cole Gallant's out there with Aragon and Briley Wood. Up top is Neil Shea and Derek Dashke. Jade Miller will take the draw for Idaho. He's out there with Lyndon McCollum, Nick Canati, and Roman Rudzinski. Idaho wins the draw. Rudzinski slices along the near board. Shea with good hands is able to keep it in. Shea over to Gallant. Back to Shea, who dangles on the right point. Gets over to Dashke. Back to Shea. Across to Wood. Wood to Dashke's in the high slot. Dashke to Shea on the right side, just outside the circle. Over to Dashke, who skates towards his left. Fires towards the net. It gets redirected by Aragon and goes out of play off the protective netting as Canadi and Aragon collided. Good play by Dashke on that quick wrist shot. Aragon looking to redirect it, and he redirected it out of play.
And Aragon Aragon and Canadi were both looking for the puck because they thought the puck had hit the goaltender.
Yeah.
They were looking around, and it was, probably 10 foot up on the netting behind the goal.
Well, guys just had a tough time locating it. I think Canadi, with as physical as he is, was just looking for an excuse to deliver a hit on Aragon. He may be the smallest guy for the Steelheads, but he's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Same guys in the ice. Utah wins the draw as Neil Shea over in the high slot. Skates towards his left. Fires towards the net. Gets redirected. Thompson makes a nice left pad save, and Idaho will clear it all the way out towards Duplessis. Boy, what quickness for Thompson there. It looked like it did redirect, and Thompson was able to kick his pad out. 23 seconds left in the power play as Grizzlies cross center ice. Neil Shea with ease gets into the zone over to Aragon. It tapped off an Idaho stick and flies out of play into section 112, about row 3.
One of the things I'm looking for is a lot of times your most valuable player in certain parts of the game are not the ones that score the most goals. They're the ones that stop a rush up the ice or make that pass, or interrupt the flow. And I love seeing those type of players. They may not, always get to the top of the score sheet.
Grizzlies win the draw. Dashke skates towards the high slot, fakes a shot. Dashke dancing around with the blue line at his ankles. Over to Wood, back to Dashke. Dashke, one-timer, saved by Thompson. Rebound to Thompson, kicks his right pad out, makes a save. Great stop by Thompson. Idaho still leads 1-0. As the Grizzlies go down, Register knocked down Gallant. Idaho long-range pass connects, but Karan is offside. Fresh out of the penalty box, he was looking for the home run pass, but Karan was offside as we're back to 5-on-5 skating with 13-16 left in the second. Boy, Grizzlies got the puck in there and did everything but score a goal on that power play.
Well, if you're Mr. Aragon, you're probably very frustrated because it was a fantastic right pad save that time by Thompson. He was in there and had 2 good looks and just couldn't quite get it by him. But give Thompson the credit. He was able to stretch out and stop that.
Ryan Chambers, the game's only goal scorer. He's taking the face-off against Tyson Upper. Upper, as we mentioned before, was a teammate with James Schur at the University of Calgary during the 2021-22 seasons. It's funny, they're playing that little sounder. It's kind of mixed. Let's go Grizzlies versus let's go Steelheads. Right side shot goes wide as Sternshine across, bounced off of Olsen's stick. Grizzlies at their line as Craig Armstrong will drop it off. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. Messner will drive it in. It hits off the left corner onto Thompson, who keeps it in play as he just kind of stopped it with his stick. As Chambers gets hit by Armstrong, as Upper rolls them along the boards. Register near side, and he'll backhand it around Idaho's net to Kudla, who tattoos it off the far boards to Chambers, who finally locates it and one-hands it towards the Utah line. As Armstrong tried to get to Upper but couldn't get it around Chambers. Olsen gets hit by Fitz over at the Utah line and make that Jensen. Jensen goes flying. So did Olsen. Olsen, a pretty big guy at 6'1", 196 pounds out of Calgary. Grizzlies in their own zone with the puck as we got 12:20 and counting left in the second. Steelheads lead 1-0. As Dunn will fire a shot from neutral ice. It's gloved by Thompson. He drops to keep the play alive. As Trevor Zins gets slashed by Neal. No call. Zins steps over the line, gets double teamed, gets knocked down by Aragon as well as Blake Wells. Wells was number 54 at the start of the week, changes number to 12. And that's what he'll wear this season as McCollum left wings a pass to neutralize for Demon. Demon over the Utah line as Aragon collided with McEachern at the Idaho line. Puck around the boards. Steelheads in the attack zone as they drop it off for McEachern right wing. As McEachern will skate towards the high slot near Demon. He'll fire a lefty wrist shot. Saved by Duplessis. And Vinny will hold on with 11:38 left in the second. And a little bit of pushing after the whistle. As play starts to get spirited out in front of the net, Gianni Fairbrother and a Steelhead with 2 linesmen. Fairbrother throws the right between the linesmen. That's probably the loudest I've heard this Mountain America Center crowd here this afternoon. Looks like we're going to get penalties on both sides, and we might skate 4-on-4.
Yeah, it didn't look like that. Mark Over was he's too shy about mixing it up.
He's probably mixed it up a time or two with all the experience.
He's been around a little while. So the matching penalties here. You know, you mentioned earlier about the chant. It was half, Steelheads, half Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Reminds me kind of, most NHL arenas are pretty solid for the home team. But, like, if you go to L.A. or Las Vegas for the NFL, you don't know who's the home team at the time.
When the 49ers play the Rams in L.A., it's
exactly.
Mark Olver starting his 15th season as a professional, former fifth-round pick by the Colorado Avalanche back in 2008.
And really, to stick around for that many years, just love of the game and just as the competitor, you gotta really grind it out and want it. This is your dream to play hockey. You might as well do it as long as you can, right?
Olver had spent the last 7 seasons in Germany. He was a star player there. Spent 3 years with the Avalanche from 2010 through 2013, 74 NHL games, 10 goals, and 12 assists. We're skating 4-on-4 matching minors as Idaho wins the draw. Trevor Zins will voluntarily exit the zone and still throw a pass across. And it's going to be a penalty on Dashke as he tripped up a Steelhead as Thompson will race towards the bench. Delayed penalty as Trevor Zins out to neutralize, gets spun around by Mastrodonato. It's touched up by Manning. Now Zins and Mastrodonato collide. Mastrodonato with the check on Zins. Let's see, we're going to have some penalties there. And it looks like Mastrodonato and Zins will both go to the box. Dashke got the initial tripping minor, and it looks like Zins and Mastrodonato will get matching roughing minors as referee John Lindner wants to keep control of this game.
Yeah, he's not letting things go very far here, which I don't blame him at all. You don't want to see things get out of hand and somebody get hurt there. Really unfortunate penalty for the Grizzlies because it seemed very inadvertent. It was a clear trip, but that's.
I think it was one of the things if he didn't lose his stick, he probably gets away with it.
Exactly, yeah, because the man didn't go down. It was just interrupting the play. So not where you want to be if you're a Grizzly because you're going to be a man down here.
So it should be a 4-on-3 power play for Idaho as Dashke gets 2 minutes for tripping. Now imagine we got incidental roughing minors with Mastrodonato and Trevor Zins.
And the first one's on the board. It is a 2-minute for Dashke.
Everett Sheen, the Idaho head coach, has really done an outstanding job with the Steelheads. Everett Sheen has been a big winner, about a 67% winning percentage over his first 4 seasons.
One thing I go back, you mentioned the focus on speed for the Grizzlies and the fact that, the Steelheads are a fast team. 4-on-3 is where that speed really pays off.
And the ice opens up quite a bit. And you feel like somebody's scoring a goal, whether it's shorthanded or the Steelheads getting one on the power play.
Exactly.
As McEachern fires towards the net, it's stopped by Duplessis. Puck's still alive behind Utah's net as Yoon continues to battle with a couple Steelheads. McEachern gets up top to Demon. Across to the right side as Thomas Caron surveys, dangles the puck back and forth. He's now in the high slot, skating towards his left, drops it for Demon on the right side, back across. It goes all the way to the point for McEachern left side. As McEachern over to Caron, he gathers the puck in the slot over towards Demon. Demon had to gather it. We was thinking about a one-timer. Caron over to Demon. As Demon will skate towards the slot, get it back to Caron, who's all alone on the left side. Across to McEachern, it tapped off his skate as the pass was too hot for McEachern to handle. McEachern over to Demon, high slot. They'll feed it out in front. Shot and score. And the Steelheads take a 2-0 lead.
Well, Lyndon McCollum had been camped out there near the goaltender for quite a while. He had that one backhand chance early on in this power play, and he was left alone. You get that. I was about to say the Steelheads didn't. Their passing wasn't real crisp, and their spacing wasn't right. And then it opened up where McComb got the puck all by himself, but he made the Grizzlies pay there.
One of those initially there, I thought Demon was taking the shot, and instead it just turned out to be the perfect pass out in front to McCollum.
Right.
So it's 2-0 Steelheads as we are now skating 4-on-4. We're back to even strength 4-on-4 we're skating for the next minute and 5 seconds. And make that 51 seconds as Utah's in the attack zone, but the puck exits the zone as Kabori Dunn will race after it and get it at the Utah line. He'll backhand it across to Cade Jensen, who surveys. Now he'll saucer it back towards Dunn. Dunn will tap it to center ice. Briley Wood near the Grizzlies bench will move it across as Register and Wood collide near Utah's bench. Cudlow with long strides crosses center ice, skates down the middle, steps over the line, veers off to the right. Now he gets it to Register on the left side all alone. Register lefty shot, he scores!
What a snipe.
Just fired it over Duplessis' left shoulder, over his glove, went top shelf as Matt Register has given the Steelheads a 3-0 lead.
Well, he had 64 points, including 10 goals last year. So,
and he's been doing that for about a decade.
Yeah, what a snipe. That was perfect in the corner. See, look at this shot. As you can see on the replay, there's not much as a goaltender you can do with that.
He just had all sorts of room there in the circle. Just could, read a book, have some lunch, have a picnic. And
yeah, it was really an overplay by the defense for the Grizzlies over to that would be their left side, and that left the opening on that. So he really skated in about 20 feet before he took the shot.
So Steelheads with 3 unanswered here in the second period. As Utah wins the draw. The 2 most recent goals were scored by Lyndon McCollum and Matt Register. Grizzlies attack is Tyson Upper, right side. Righty backhand shot is saved by Thompson. Looked like that shot could have gone wide. And Nick Canati and Tyson Upper after the whistle exchange a few words. Drow's game being the Steelhead zone.
So you're down 3-0, and the frustration is going to start mounting here because every time you've had close calls or put a little pressure, the Steelheads come right back. So I kind of like that. Keep the pressure on. Force the goaltender to make the save and hold the puck and get the offensive zone, face off.
Steelheads win the draw back in their own zone. They skate from right to left here in the second period as Idaho has gotten second period goals from Brian Chambers as well as Lyndon McCollum and Matt Register. Duplessis throws it towards the far side. Grizzlies gather the puck. They skate from left to right. Left wing pass taps off of Messner. Goes in deep as Messner gets around the check of Trevor's in. Centering pass is cut off as Radzinski cut in front of Derek Dashke, who was trying to accept it about 5 feet in front of the crease.
Love what Messner did that time.
Grizzlies back in their own zone. Get it ahead. Now right side, Grizzlies. Blake Wells crossing center ice. Gets across the Dashke. Steps over the line. Dashke surveys. Centering pass shot. Saved by Thompson. Boy, what a great pass by Dashke. Found a cutting Max Neal out in front. And Thompson was able to make the stop.
Yeah, Neal with a beautiful pass that is 2 times down the ice. There have been really outstanding passes giving the Grizzlies opportunities there. Hey, you're down. You're not feeling real well about a 3-goal deficit, but keep putting the pressure on. They've been on 5-on-5. They've actually been their best. When they've had the man advantage or penalty kill, they haven't really played that well. But really, the Grizzlies 5-on-5 have been pretty good.
Nick Messner is one of those guys. He seems to be. He was a glue guy last season. Looks like that's going to be the case once again. He does a bit of everything.
Yeah. And you want those guys on your team. I mean, they're the ones like, I mentioned earlier, I have a little experience. I've coached high school basketball and baseball. And you always have the people that score the points and are stars. But the people that do the little things on your teams are that glue, as you say. They kind of get everything in sync. They keep people calm down. They do the right things every time. You can count on them. And even with the Spud Kings, it's very important. There's some players that don't score a lot of goals that are very important to that team. And so that's what you want in your hockey team. I was going to ask you, when is the date for their final rosters?
I think sometime early this week, either Monday or Tuesday, they'll get the final rosters put together. Regular season opener is going to be on Friday night at Idaho Central Arena. A lot of Steelheads fans will be in attendance. Hopefully we'll see some Grizzlies fans as well. Drow's game in the Steelhead zone. Idaho leads 3-0 on goals from Brian Chambers, Lyndon McCollum, and Matt Register. As Idaho wins the draw, they're back in their own zone, skating from right to left. As Demon will dump it into the Grizzlies zone as Idaho skates around Utah's net. As Jensen delivers a shot on Eric Olson, we get a whistle as Jensen and Olson were pretty aggressive. They were really living it up over in the near corner. Looks like, boy, John Linder is really calling it about as tight as you can, trying to keep control. Olson's wondering what he did. It's not putting one guy to the penalty box. It's just telling both guys, hey, you've been a little bit too rough. Go go sit in timeout for 2 minutes.
I really thought they were going to go at it there in the corner. It was a kind of a quick exchange, but, this is the way the game's going to be called. So he doesn't want it out of hand. This is the final preseason, warm-up. And, I love physical hockey, but you don't want to take a dumb penalty. So if you're the Grizzlies, if you want to get back in this game, be physical, but don't get out of hand.
We're going to skate 4-on-4, matching minors with Jensen for the Grizzlies and Eric Olsen for the Steelheads. Draw one by Idaho as they get it up top to Demon. Shot is blocked by Masho Donato. Masho Donato back to his feet, but that one smarted a little bit. As Shearer behind the Grizzlies, net takes control. Utah spreads the ice. Shearer's out there with Fairbrother, Masho Donato, and Manning. Pass ahead to Masho Donato. Left wing feed over to Fairbrother, who loses his balance, but he's able to get it deep off the backboards. McEachern throws it across to Zins. Zins does a bit of a half circle deep in the Steelhead zone. Now I'll push a diagonal pass to McEachern. McEachern crosses center ice. Grizzlies back defensively. And it's taken away by Fairbrother on to Masho Donato. Now James Shearer gets the puck as he skates along the Utah line horizontally. Left wing pass to Masho Donato. Take a righty shot that goes wide. Shearer runs it down over to Masho Donato behind Idaho's net. Masho Donato lets it go to the far side for Manning. Luke Manning gets poked away by Idaho's Thomas Caron, who plays a strong two-way game. Caron, as Masho Donato and Demon collided. Interference is going to be the call, and it's going to be on Stanislav Demon. And the Grizzlies are going to get a 4-on-3 power play as Demon gave Masho Donato kind of an old-school basketball screen.
Well, he did. And yet another opportunity for the Grizzlies to get something going here. On that rush, Thompson was actually crossed up a little bit on that shot. It just missed would be the left post there. But you could tell by the way he reacted. I don't know if it was a screen or something, and I don't remember who took the shot. But anyway, crossed him up a little bit. So let's see if you can put some pucks on net here,
4-on-3 power play goal. Let's see if Utah gets on the board. Briley Wood will take the draw. He's got Neil Shea to his right and Derek Dashke to his left. Up top is Cole Gallant. Grizzlies are going with 3 forwards, 1 defenseman on this unit. Utah wins the draw. Gallant fakes to Dashke. Now he gets to him on the right side. Dashke over to Shea over in the right circle. Shea feeds up top high slot to Gallant as Gallant over to the left side for Briley Wood. Wood skates around the circle. Now he skates to his right. Fires it towards Donato. Back to Dashke. One-timer saved by Thompson.
Yeah, beautiful pass to Dashke there. He was ready with that one-timer. It's just Thompson. He's, he's solid in net, especially tonight. He's having a good night.
Dashke can end up being a strong finisher on Utah's power plays this year. He had 16 goals with Kalamazoo last season, which ranks tied for second among all league defensemen. Mark Olver will take the draw against Briley Wood. 47 seconds left in the 4-on-3 situation. Puck goes on to Thompson, who brushed it away after Utah won the draw. Dashke over to the left side, dangles the puck back and forth. Now gets to Gallant, who drops it for Shea. Shea lays it across for Dashke, who surveys. Now gets it back towards Shea all alone. Right side, pass, shot, score! Wood. Looked like Riley Wood redirected it.
Yeah, it was right there in the corner.
Steelheads were kind of arguing that Wood was in the crease. But it looks like the goal's going to count. Briley Wood high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench as Utah gets a 4-on-3 power play goal, and it's now a 3-1 game.
We'll see if we can get the replay, but it'll look good to me. It looked like he was camped out there. You can see, yeah, that's good. He gets the tip in. Nice play by Briley.
He was probably about 2 or 3 feet from Thompson, never made contact. Two of the officials are talking it over at the scores table. Wood really had a breakout year in the WHL with the Wenatchee Wild, where he had 28 goals in 60 games. He was also outstanding in the WHL playoffs, where in only 6 games, he had 6 goals and 7 assists.
Well, he had, last year during the regular season, 64 points. That's a lot of points to fill it up during a season.
And he's only 21 years old.
Wow,
a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's just what the Grizzlies needed. Okay, they were able to get and this time on the power play on a 4-on-3. And so they're back in this game. It's, 3 goals is hard to catch up from. 2 goals is more manageable.
So the goal's going to count. Idaho is really pleading their case, thinking that Wood had really gotten there in front of the crease all in Thompson's business, but it looked like he gave him enough room.
No, I think our replay showed that it was it just appeared to be in very good position there.
We're now skating 4-on-4 as Utah got the 4-on-3 power play goal. Grizzlies step over the line. Derek Dashke slices towards his right, gets the Fitz. Fitz will wobble it over to Dashke in the near corners. Dashke battles with Kanadi. As Dashke gets up top to Fitz, he's in the right point, skates towards his left. Fitz is now in the high slot, over to Yoon. Yoon down the middle, dangles, loses the puck. Rodzinski gets it poked away by Dashke. Fitz delivers a big-time hit on Rodzinski as Kanadi behind the net gets over to Rodzinski, who backhands it to neutralize. Idaho enters the zone 2-on-2. Brendan Hoffman skates towards his right, takes a shot that's blocked by the stick of Yoon. And now they get it to Demon, left side, lefty shot, saved by Duplessis, as Yoon will tattoo it off the near boards. Puck goes to center ice, Utah chasing after it. Masha Donato gets it. He'll skate towards his left. Backhand shot, saved by Thompson. Boy, really good look by Masha Donato, creating a scoring chance. Home run pass connects. Idaho skates towards the right side. Sternshine with a righty shot. And that's blocked away as Sternshine collides with a Grizzly. And now Sternshine pushes Fairbrother. Fairbrother and Sternshine want to fight. The linesmen step in.
Yeah, they both were willing to go there. There was a little bit of back and forth with a little face rub and a cross check.
Fairbrother has been pretty physical here in the second period.
And they're only going to send one here.
It's just going to be Fairbrother going to the box for the Grizzlies. And Sternshine, if he had retaliated, would have been the second guy. But it looks like they let Sternshine kind of...
Well, I thought he did retaliate.
Maybe they just said that he's standing up for himself.
There we go.
So it's going to be we got to do some complicated math here to figure out who's on the ice. I think we're skating 5-on-4 now, as Fairbrother's the only one in the box with 6:23 left in the second period. Idaho leads 3-1.
It's a double minor.
Double minor. 4 minutes for Fairbrother. As Idaho with a 2-goal lead, they win the draw. Steelheads have been strong on the power play for many years. As Idaho gets to Nick Kanadi on the right side, across to Hoffman. Brendan Hoffman with two ends to the end of his last name. Over to Rodzinski. Roman's his first name. High slot, lefty shot. Was gloved by Duplessis about chest high. And C.J. Walker was net front with Cade Jensen battling in front of the net.
You know, both these teams about the same last year in their penalty killing ability. And so, again, an uphill battle for the Grizzlies here. They've got to withstand another 3:45 to keep this game close.
Jade Miller takes a draw for Idaho. It's won by the Steelheads. Rodzinski over in the right point, skates towards his left. Now drops it back to the right side for Kanadi. Kanadi had a goal last night in the third period. A throw it to the far goal line. Now back to Kanadi, who shuffles it over to Rodzinski, who directs it back to Kanadi on the right side. Kanadi, lefty shot. And that one goes wide. Duplessis might have gotten a piece of it as the shot was fired about shoulder high. Rodzinski over to Kanadi. Kanadi faked a one-timer, gets it across to Hoffman. Back to Rodzinski. He's on the left side. Dangles, surveys. Now he's along the near boards, gets up top. And Svetlikov over to Kanadi, who faked a one-timer, but the timing was messed up. As Grizzlies knocked down a Steelhead penalty is going to be called. I think it's going to be on Utah.
Yeah.
Boy, hit was delivered by, I think that's Cade Jensen. Kabori Dunn argues the case. Dunn's the one that's going to get the penalty.
Yeah, he's...
Tripping is going to be the call. Dunn goes to the box, and it's going to be a 5-on-3 power play for 2 full minutes.
My guess is that it was because the legs were clearly taken out, as we can see here. This is the replay. Yeah, you can see he got that stick
call.
Yeah.
He tripped up C.J. Walker out there along the end boards of the Grizzly zone. It was a good call, and Dunn's going to serve 2 minutes.
You know, I want to thank Amber's our director producer here. I want to thank her work.
She's been outstanding. Not only today, but I'm pretty sure she's done a great job with the
let
Spud
me tell
case.
you, she keeps us in line, but also our replay is Kinsey, our camera people are Danny, Jeremiah, and Joel. So just want to shout out to them because they do week after week. They do a great job here.
Utah wins the draw, and they'll sail it all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. Looking forward to working with Jed on Grizzlies broadcast. Jed and Justin and the whole crew, all the camera operators. It's going to be a lot of fun this season. Steelheads the Spud Kings do a great job. Utah pokes it away. Short-handed. Mick Messner skates down the left side. Take a shot. He scores! Grizzlies score a 5-on-3 short-handed goal as Mick Messner went 5-fold on Thompson, and it's now a 3-2 game.
Wow, just what the doctor ordered right there. Here you are fighting off a two-man disadvantage, and you intercept an errant pass, jump on it, and go 5-hole. Can't ask for anything more than that, eh?
Boy, Mick Messner had 3 shorthanded goals last season. Grizzlies were down 2 men, 3-on-5, and score. It's now a 3-2 game. One of hockey's rules that I think might end up getting adopted in a few years. You know, if you score a shorthanded goal, maybe earn the right to get one of your guys out of the penalty box. I don't know, maybe they'll adopt that soon. I know a lot of people have been proposing something like that as Idaho wins the draw. McCollum over the line as it's still a 5-on-3 power play for Idaho as McCollum loses his balance as the Steelheads will shuffle it back up top to the right point as Thomas Caron throws it to the left side back to Caron. He's in the high slot. He'll feed it to the right. Now back up top to Caron and still move it to the near goal line. Idaho back to Caron. One-timer and he fanned on it. Grizzlies will clear it out.
You know, that proposal, you know, more than just getting a guy out of the box, it entices the defense to be more aggressive.
Yep, instead of just getting the puck and clearing it out, Dashke clears it out from the Utah line all the way deep pass towards Brian Thompson. Both teams will change up skaters. We have 4:15 left in the second period. It's 3-2 Steelheads. Gennady over the offensive line as he stops in the right point, gets to Brendan Hoffman, 2 ends at the end of his last name, over to Rudzinski as he's over in the high slot back towards Gennady. Gennady dangles. He skates towards the slot. Now back towards Rudzinski, who moves it across to Hoffman. It tapped off of his skate. Hoffman gets it back as he's just outside the left circle. Now Hoffman's down the middle. Surveys, drops it for Rudzinski, who skates towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Duplessis. And he holds on. Steelheads pretty patient with their approach, and we're able to get a good shot from the left circle.
They were, and it was somewhat the shot was taken. It wasn't a clear shot. Plessy had to really look around the corner and make that save because he had traffic in front. So I tell you what, you know, hats off to the penalty killing unit here. Not only so far have they killed the penalty, but they get a goal.
They got a goal. Down 2 men. 20 seconds left in the 5-on-3 as Idaho wins the draw. Rudzinski will get it to the high slot for Brendan Hoffman. Hoffman played with Reading in Atlanta last year in this league. Over to the left side as Svetlikov over to Rudzinski, back towards Hoffman. One-timer saved by Duplessis. As it looks like Kabori Dunn's coming out of the box right now. It's now a 5-on-4. Grizzlies have a 2-on-2. As Cole Gallant skates to the right side. Gallant around the net as he gets the Dunn out in front, but Dunn couldn't quite accept it as the pass was too far in front of him. As Ewell tapping off the backboards, Gallant behind the net gets double teamed. Rudzinski and another Steelhead have him in a sandwich as looks like Gallant holds his ground. Mastrodonato surveys. Mastrodonato comes out of it as the puck deflects towards Thompson, who makes a save with an even 3 minutes left in the second.
Well, the impressive thing here is puck took a fortuitous bounce off the sideboards here. They had that chance on a 2-on-2 and then another chance on the wraparound. Playing shorthanded and getting that many chances is very rare.
Playing shorthanded, and yet they've got the team that's on the power play on the ropes.
They do.
Brown's going to be in the Steelhead zone. You know, this song's outstanding. We're going to miss Charlie Blackman, the Colorado Rockies legend. Hey, you haven't lived until you're at a Rockies game and they play that song and everybody goes tonight.
Oh,
you know,
really?
All in unison. Charlie Blackman retired. I went to the series against the Cardinals, last homestand for the Rockies last season, and Charlie Blackman retiring. That song for forever is going to be the Charlie Blackman song. As Idaho's in the attack zone, Caron gets around Mastrodonato. Caron skates in as he's falling down, takes a shot that's sticked away. Steelheads trying to keep it in. Demon does, and the Grizzlies poke it away. Utah's got a breakaway. Luke Manning skates down the middle. Manning takes a lefty shot. Saved by Thompson as he went 5 on Thompson. But Thompson closed the door. Idaho comes back the other way. Out of the penalty box is Fairbrother. Successful, very successful penalty kill by the Grizzlies. We're a +1 in the goal margin on that shorthanded situation.
It's been a while since I've seen a team that's had that many offensive chances being both 2 individuals down and 1 individual down.
Grizzlies very aggressive. They're shorthanded as Utah trying to get to Wood at center ice. Passes wide of the mark. Jade Miller gets back checked by Wood. Taking the puck is Idaho. They're at neutral ice. They have to reset. Register skates along the Utah line as he was at neutral ice, and he chips it into the far corner. And Shea gets it across. Diagonal pass is poked away. Good defensive work by Kudla as Utah was trying to find Briley Wood. Steelheads dumping in. Duplessis behind his net. Wearing number 35. Puck goes to Register, and it exited the zone. Register trying to kick it back in, but offside are the Steelheads with 1:33 left in the second. The score is Idaho 3 and Utah 2.
You know, little things like what Patrick Kudla, the defenseman, did that time, getting that stick just enough on the puck to prevent that pass because they had an opening on the right side here and probably would have had another one-on-one with the goaltender.
Draw's going to be just outside the Utah blue line. But what a very eventful second period. There was no score after one. And between the 3-on-5, two-man down, shorthanded goal by Utah, and really Idaho really coming strong with the first 3 goals of the second period. Utah responding with 2 unanswers. Grizzlies at center ice after winning the draw. Max Neal backhands it in. Thompson towards the near side. Gabori Dunn's over to the right side as he gets poked away by Miller out to center ice. As the Steelheads trying to get it back to Miller on the left side. It's picked off by Utah. They dump it in. Max Neal on the back check as Idaho will spread the ice. Nick Canati in his own zone skates along the right wing. He gets around Max Neal. Blue line to blue line pass connects to Olsen. He gets taken off the puck by Cade Jensen. Action deep in the Grizzlies zone. Idaho behind their net as they're at the near goal line. They feed it up top to Rudzinski, who tries to fire towards the net. Gets redirected by Blake Wells, and it flies out of play. And we get some real pushing and shoving after the whistle. As looks like Sternshine is involved. Now everybody's huddled up towards the far side.
I know there was reciprocal cross checks that went on there.
Everybody to their feet that can, but maybe let's say 50% of the crowd standing. Let's see. It looks like we're going to get some sort of penalties. Jensen is being separated. So is Eric Olsen. Looks like Jensen's going to go for Utah and Olsen for Idaho. And the referee, John Lindner, points to the penalty box with his left arm and tells Jensen, you go there.
Well, we're back to likely a 4-on-4 situation.
I think that's been probably a fourth of the period we've been skating 4-on-4.
I'd say, early on, it's really been a tale of 2 halves of the period. And, the Steelheads jump out to that 3-0 lead. And we mentioned, about momentum, and you can't get down. You need a little spark. And then all of a sudden you go two men down if you're the Grizzlies, and that was the spark.
That's exactly what it was.
You rarely see that, but the Steelheads really couldn't do anything on the power play, and you get that shorthanded goal and then another one, and now it's a 1-goal hockey game at the end of this second period.
Drowsky in the Steelhead zone will be skating 5-on-4. It looks like an extra 2 minutes were given to Olsen.
Interesting. I don't advise the Grizzlies to get their sparks in the game this way every contest by going 2 down, but it seems to have worked in this game.
Well, it was them with a 2-man power play, 5-on-3 power play during the Maverick Center Miracle on March 17th. That's when Norfolk had a 4-1 lead against Utah with about 3 minutes left in regulation, while the Grizzlies scored on the 5-on-3 and then 48 seconds scored 5-on-4, and then 20 seconds after that tied it up. Wow. They scored 3 goals in 68 seconds to turn a 4-1 deficit into a 4-4 tie. And then Josh Wesley on a power play scored the game winner as Utah had about as miraculous a comeback as you could possibly have.
It's such a unique skill to be able to coach and perform both penalty killing and power play opportunities. Interesting last year with the Spud Kings. They went like 0 for 17 to open the season at home on the power play, and was only 9% for most of this. It was really an odd thing because their away power play was so much better than their home. It was very unique.
Utah does win the faceoff as they're on the power play for 2 minutes. As Olsen got an extra 2. Fitz gets up top for Masher Donato. He's at the left point. Over to Brian Yoon in the high slot. He shuffles towards his left and gets to Messner. He's on the right side, back towards Yoon. Yoon shoulder shakes, gets to Messner, back to Yoon. Yoon shoulder shakes towards the high slot, skates towards his left. Now he fakes towards Manning. Now he gets to Manning in the right point as there's 33 seconds left in the period. Fits over to Manning. Manning drops it for Yoon on the right point. Utah looking for that look, very patient. Yoon skates in, starting pass, shot is kicked away. Well, he just kind of feathered it out in front, hoping for an odd redirection, and the puck just kind of smoothly went to a Steelhead.
Well, Yoon, that was a beautiful pass. It was so, like you said, feathered, but it was right there.
Right wing Grizzlies re-enter. Masher Donato, toe drag, taken away by Demon, and he'll clear it out. Now pretty well, we get a whistle. Boy, Demon was clearing it out. And John Lindner is waving both arms in the air. There's 5 seconds left in the second. 1:15 left in the power play.
Interesting.
Now, Linder's telling Ryan Kanasowicz and the assistant coach Christian Horn why he blew the whistle. They must have not, the clock must have started late as they have ended the second period.
Right. That is the explanation. I don't think the clock has started at the proper time, so they jumped in with that. So good officiating, but what a turn of events. You know, we talked about it a little bit ago, a 3-goal lead for the Steelheads, and yet the resiliency from the Grizzlies shorthanded to come back, and I'm very impressed with that.
Let's see if I remember the goals off the top of my head. It was scored first by Brian Chambers for Idaho to give them a 1-0 lead. And then on a 4-on-3 power play, Lyndon McCollum got a goal on a nice pass out in front from Stanislav Demon. And then it was Matt Register from the left circle that made it 3-0 as he was all alone and just called his own number. And he fired it over the left glove of Vinny Duplessis. But the Grizzlies responded as Briley Wood out in front of the net scored. Idaho wanted goaltender interference, but Wood scored. He was outstanding in the WHL last year. And then Idaho had a 5-on-3 power play, but Mick Messner, who had 3 shorthanded goals last year, got a breakaway and went 5-hole past Brian Thompson to make it 3-2. We've had a lot of physical stuff, and overall, the Grizzlies did end up winning the shot count in the second period by a count of 14-8. And, I think you have to tip your hat to the Grizzlies after being down 3-0. To not just kind of mail it in, knowing it's a preseason game and they're, being 5 days away from the regular season opener. They just kept battling, and heading into the third period, it's anybody's game.
And really for both teams, that whole second period scenario got the crowd into it. We have fans, of course, from both teams here, but they really appreciated the hard play and the pickup in the scoring. But yeah, Grizzlies amazing.
Especially after Idaho, put together that 3-goal barrage, and Grizzlies just kept battling. So it should be an interesting third period, and I'll see what happens here in the final 20 minutes. Grizzlies will be on the power play for the first minute and 10 seconds of the third period. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey, and we'll also go over some scores from around the world of sports. We're through 40 minutes of play here at Mountain America Center, and it's the Idaho Steelheads 3 and the Utah Grizzlies 2. It's the Utah Grizzlies Audio Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. We've got over 350 new Kias to choose from. Savings. Shop over 40 new Kia Sportage models and save up to $2,500 off when you buy. Jerry Seiner has been the area's most trusted automotive source for over 40 years. Little wonder then how we've made thousands of friends to last a lifetime. Jerry Seiner Kia, South Jordan.
Smith's always gives you more ways to save on top of our lower than low prices. And when you download the Smith's app, you can enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons and earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. With a Boost membership, you'll save even more with double fuel points and free delivery. Discover more ways to save big every day. Smith's.
Schwab tires. I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab tires.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. We've got over 350 new Kias to choose from. Savings. Shop over 40 new Kia Sportage models and save up to $2,500 off when you buy. Jerry Seiner has been the area's most trusted automotive source for over 40 years. Little wonder then how we've made thousands of friends to last a lifetime. Jerry Seiner Kia, Salt Lake.
At Black Bear Diner, you always get more. More choice, more amazing food, more value, from huge breakfasts to delicious lunches and hearty dinners. Black Bear Diner has more for you. So get more when you want it, the way you want it, and get it today.
Good old-fashioned family food, Black Bear Diner. Black
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual.
This isn't just copper. It's our job. It's food on our family's tables. Without it, we couldn't stay in touch. It's what keeps our homes warm and our lights on. It's the power behind the team and a greener, brighter future. This isn't just copper. It's a proud Utah and a strong America.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. We've got over 350 new Kias to choose from. Savings. Shop over 30 new Kia Seltos models and save up to $2,000 off when you buy. Jerry Seiner has been the area's most trusted automotive source for over 40 years. Little wonder then how we've made thousands of friends to last a lifetime. Jerry Seiner Kia, Salt Lake.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey, second intermission. Idaho leads Utah 3-2. The Grizz will be on the power play for the first minute and 10 of the third period. Early in the second period, it was Brian Chambers that gave the Steelheads a 1-0 lead as we were scoreless after one. Idaho outshot Utah 10-9. Chambers scored. He's been one of Idaho's most active forwards, in particular on the goal line, where he seems to be hanging out quite a bit. When they were skating 4-on-4, we had quite a few 4-on-3 situations. When it was 4-on-3, Stanislav Denman was hanging out in the high slot. He found a wide open Lyndon McCollum out in front of the net. McCollum accepted the pass from Denman and fired a backhand shot past Duplessis to make it 2-0. Matt Register, about a minute later, made it 3-0 as he scored from the left circle as he just fired one glove side past Duplessis. Grizzlies kept battling. Later in the second period, it was Briley Wood that kind of, it was one of those combination passes and as well as shots. Wood was able to get in front of the net and gather the puck, and there really wasn't any contact. Idaho was hoping for goaltender interference, but Wood was about 2 or 3 feet away from Thompson, got the puck and put it in the back of the net. And as we mentioned, Wood might be one of those guys that, as the season progresses, especially with this being his first season as a pro, only 21 years old, he'll be 22 in January. Wood's going to be one of those guys that I imagine is going to get better as the season progresses. 28 goals in 60 games in the WHL last year, but his postseason run was particularly impressive, where in 6 games with Wenatchee, he had 6 goals and 7 assists. So he had 13 points in 6 playoff games for the Wild back in the WHL last season. So watch out for Briley Wood. He's been on the line mostly with Cole Gallant and Neil Shea today. And then, Idaho had a 5-on-3 power play, about 5 or 6 minutes left in the second period, and Mick Messner got the puck, just skated down the middle and went 5-hole past Brian Thompson. And for Messner, who had 15 goals last year, he seemed to be, he was a pretty important piece last night. Really, there was one forward unit last night, and it was Aaron Aragon, Luke Manning, and Mick Messner. All 3 of those guys really played well. And tonight, it's been Manning, Messner that have really stepped up. Aragon hasn't seen as much ice time tonight, but when he's been out there, he's been effective as well. And that's really what has gotten the Grizzlies back in the game. Idaho Idaho led 3-0, but, the Utah just kept battling back. And as the first goal was scored by Briley Wood, Wood had the first goal, and then Mick Messner scored the shorthanded tally. As we're hanging out with Javier, the PA announcer, and it was one of those where the shot was taken there, and then Wood was just out there in front of the net to collect it. As he redirected the shot from, I can't quite remember who it was. I think it might have been Dashke who was on the ice, and Wood redirected it. But looks like we got a fun third period here in store as Idaho leads 3-2. The shots were pretty even in the first period. Idaho outshot Utah 10-9 in the second period. The Grizzlies had a 14-8 shot advantage over the Idaho Steelheads. We're having a good time as we're 5 days away from the regular season opener, as the Grizzlies will be at Idaho Central Arena to take on the Steelheads. It's only going to be a one-game set, which is a little bit odd. That's going to be Friday, October 18th. And then the Grizzlies the next week will be at the Monument in Rapid City, a two-game set against the Rapid City Rush on October 25th and 26th. The home opener is going to be a two-game set against the Allen Americans. Opening weekend is presented by Smith's as the Grizzlies celebrate their 30th season of professional hockey in the state of Utah. And then the Tahoe Night Monsters will be in town for the first time ever. That's going to be the second week of November, as the Night Monsters will be in for a two-game set on Saturday, November 9th, as well as Sunday, November 10th. The Sunday game is going to be a 3:10 start. Don't forget that on November 9th, it's going to be Pucks and Pups. That's the promotion that was formerly known as Pooch on the Pond. Pucks and Pups, bring your dog to the game and enjoy a great night of Grizzlies hockey with a lot of dog-friendly festivities. It's going to be Saturday, November 9th. And then the Grizzlies will have a long road trip, which will span 7 games in the Central Time Zone. Grizzlies will be back in town for Thanksgiving weekend. Black Friday is going to be a special ticket offer where tickets are $12 for the Grizzlies Black Friday game against the Indy Fuel. That's going to be a 3-game set the day before Thanksgiving, as well as Black Friday and Saturday, November 30th. All face-offs for that series will be at 7:10. A couple of the big promotion items for the month of December. Healthcare Appreciation Weekend presented by U of U Health is going to be on December 6th and 7th as the Grizzlies take on Kansas City. On December 21st, it's going to be the Teddy Bear Toss and Ugly Sweater Night. And we want to see if we can up the game on Teddy Bear Toss year in and year out. The Grizzlies did set a franchise record for Teddy Bear's Toss with 3,647. That was last year when the Grizzlies got a big win against the Allen Americans. And it's also Ugly Sweater Night, where the Grizzlies will wear ugly sweater-themed specialty jerseys. Seems like over the last couple of years, the Grizzlies have performed well in the ugly sweater-themed jerseys, and they will take on the Tahoe Night Monsters on December 21st for the Teddy Bear Toss and Ugly Sweater. February 1st is going to be Guns N' Hoses Night, which will feature multiple charity games, police officers versus firefighters in the afternoon leading up to the Grizzlies 7:10 game. Guns N' Hoses Night will be on February 1st as the Grizzlies will host the Idaho Steelheads. February 15th, what I think is going to be the best new tradition in the league, the best promotion, is Fishing Night, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company. It's the Grizzlies' first ever fishing night as the Grizzlies look to hook the Steelheads. The Grizz will be wearing fishing-themed specialty jerseys. Just imagine those fishing vests, in particular the guy that picks up the fish after Idaho's first goal. A costume like that fishing vest. Imagine that in a hockey jersey. That might be what we get on February 15th, which I think is the best new promotion of the year. Grizzlies Fight Cancer Weekend, presented by Mountain Land, will be on February 22nd. It'll be all weekend, February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, as the Grizzlies host Rapid City. So that's going to be Grizzlies Fight Cancer Weekend, which seems to be one of the bigger games all season. That's going to be February 21st, and 22nd against the Rapid City Rush. Military Night this year is going to be on March 7th as the Grizzlies take on the Tulsa Oilers. Show your respect for our great military and help the Grizzlies honor them. That's going to be March 7th. Youth Sports Night, presented by Hercules First Credit Union, is going to be on March 28th as the Grizzlies take on the Allen Americans. March 29th continues with 801 weekend. March 28th and 29th is going to be 801 weekend. And on Saturday, the 29th, the Grizzlies will be wearing throwback-themed specialty jerseys to help honor 801 weekend. The final weekend of the regular season among the home slate will be April 4th and 5th. April 4th is going to be Star Wars night as Grizzlies will look to use the force as they face the Tahoe Night Monsters. And then Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Les Schwab, will be on Saturday, April 5th. As Grizzlies conclude the home schedule with a couple of great promotions, Star Wars night and Fan Appreciation Night. So we got a ton of fun stuff happening in and around Maverick Center all season long. Got a lot of great promotions, and we want to see a big crowd at Maverick Center for pretty much every home game. After all, the Grizzlies are the tradition that keeps on giving, the 30th year of Utah Grizzlies hockey. And if you're talking about kind of keeping that flame, kind of keeping that keeping the seat warm in terms of professional hockey, I mean, the Grizzlies have done that for 3 decades. You know, they've really kind of kept the spirit alive of professional hockey. And really, I think in a lot of ways, that story has been ignored by far too many people in the local market who just kind of assumed that an NHL team just showed up out of nowhere and that people started watching the sport of hockey just this month. Well, the fact is that the spirit that the Grizzlies brought over 3 decades is a bigger part of why we see the hockey renaissance and why we see something like the NHL. And I think that story's been ignored, and it's really a shame. And hey, come on out, and we got affordable tickets all season long at Maverick Center. Tickets start just $10 or $12 most nights. And so you can bring a family of 4 for a pretty affordable price. And that's going to be at Maverick Center all season long as we continue the spirit and tradition of Utah Grizzlies hockey. When we come back in 15 seconds, we will go over the NFL scores as well as the 4 NHL games that are played later on today. Second intermission here at Mountain America Center. It's the Idaho Steelheads 3 and the Utah Grizzlies 2.
Why is Jerry Seiner the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake region? Selection. Shop over 50 new Kia Sorentos with savings up to $4,500 off at Jerry Seiner Kia, South Jordan.
It's week 7 in the National Football League. Let's go over some of the final scores. Might even be week 6 of the NFL. Season's gone by pretty quickly. Games that have gone final: Bears over the Jaguars 35-16. Baltimore goes to 4-2 this season as they defeat Washington 30-23. Both clubs are now 4-2. Packers get a 34-13 victory over Arizona as Green Bay goes to 4-2. Arizona is now 2-4. Texans defeat the Patriots 41-21. Drake May got the start for the Patriots, his first career start. C.J. Stroud was outstanding with 2 touchdown passes. Buccaneers get 4 touchdown passes from Baker Mayfield. They defeat the Saints 51-27. Eagles go to 3-2 on the season. They defeat the Browns 20-16. And Indy won a close one on the road at Tennessee 20-17. One game that just went final: Pittsburgh over the Las Vegas Raiders 32-13. As the Steelers get the victory, their record goes to 4-2. Late fourth quarter, boy, the Chargers really dominated the first half, but the Broncos have made a comeback. 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. Chargers lead the Broncos 23-16. Early fourth quarter, the Detroit Lions have a 40-9 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. And late fourth quarter, Atlanta leads Carolina 35-20. 4 NHL games today. One is in progress as Minnesota and Winnipeg are tied at 1 after 1 period. Starting at 6 o'clock, so about an hour from now, Seattle is at Dallas, Calgary is at Edmonton, and at 8 o'clock, Anaheim is at the Vegas Golden Knights. In the NWSL, the Utah Royals lead 3-0. That one late in regulation, so it looks like the Royals are going to get a big victory. The Utah Royals have really had a struggle this season. They are 6-3-14. They are 12th in the NWSL. Am I reading that right? They've really had 14 ties in 21 games or 23 games. I think we got to do something about ties in the sport of soccer. We got to find a way to decide a winner after all of these games. So Utah is going to come away with a big victory as they defeat the Seattle Reign 3-0. That game looks like it's just gone final. We'll come back and have third period action. Don't forget the Grizzlies will be on the power play for the first minute and 10 seconds of the third period. As we're hanging out here at Mountain America Center, Tyson Whiting here with Scott Bradford, the normal voice of the Idaho Falls Spud Kings. And Scott, it's been outstanding to be here, and it's been a ton of fun. And I got a feeling we got an interesting and exciting third period in store.
Well, if the second period is an indication of that, I'm all in favor for it. We are going to have a good third period. I'd say we talked about it in that second period, the impressive way that the Grizzlies have come back shorthanded, scoring those 2 goals when you were facing a 3-0 deficit. And I think if I were the Steelheads back in the locker room, one of the things I would address is the sloppiness on their power play of letting those. It wasn't just 1 or 2 chances; it was several chances that they gave the Grizzlies. And so I would try to tighten that up with my defense. If you're the Grizzlies, you take the attitude, hey, we're going to go out and be aggressive. We were better when we were pushing the play and being aggressive shorthanded. Let's continue to do that. Obviously, preseason, you want to work on some things. You do play it like a regular season game, but there are some differences. So we'll see how it comes out. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What's in store for the Idaho Falls Spud Kings here in recent weeks?
Well, in recent weeks, I tell you, we're on a home drought. So we had the showcase the first week of October. That was all 6 teams in the Mountain Division of the NCDC were here over 3 days, had 32 college scouts in. So a lot of those players are looking to get, Division I, Division III, scholarships if they can. Now they're out of town for 5 weeks. It's just a fluke of the schedule and the way things worked out. But the next home game is November 8th. So they're on the road. Had a little tough weekend down in Ogden this weekend where they've, the Spud Kings started off winning 5 of the opening 5 games. They were 5-0. They've kind of hit the skids a little bit, but we're looking forward to continuing on the road for the next couple weekends, and then we'll be back in November.
That should be a ton of fun. They play in the same division with the teams like the Utah Outliers and Ogden Mustangs, and I think Pueblo might still be in the lead. They're the Pueblo Bulls.
The Bulls are, and then the Provo team got sold, and they're now in Casper. So those are the Casper Warbirds, and they've looked pretty strong. You can tell there's some carryover from that Provo team that went to Casper. So, yeah, it's I'd say that level of hockey, obviously not quite what we are in the professional level here, but it's very good. Those guys are hungry. They're looking to get either college or professional contracts. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to this season.
And there are a handful of players that are in the game on both teams that have NCDC experience. So you can play in one of those leagues and eventually find your way to colleges and maybe even a level like this.
Well, that is the dream. And, you look at the variety you have on the ice with these 2 teams. You have young guys. You have 21-year-olds, right, that are just out of junior hockey. And then you have guys that are 37 that have been, had some NHL experience with a wide variety. This is good quality hockey. We're fortunate to have it here as a preseason game here in Idaho Falls.
That's a ton of fun, and hopefully we'll be here in Idaho Falls for the preseason for many years to come.
We do hope that continues.
Grizzlies will be on the power play to start the third period, as Kate Jensen will be in the penalty box, but there are 2 Steelheads in the box right now as Jensen and Eric Olson picked up matching minors, and the Steelheads got a penalty to Sam Sternshine. It's Sternshine's penalty that's listed on the scoreboard. Grizzlies will start the third period with Luke Manning taking the face-off. He's got Fitz to his left, Marshall Donato to his right. Up top is Brian Yoon and Nick Messner. Connor McEachran will take the draw for Idaho. He's out there with Thomas Caron and it looks like registering Cutlaw. Draw won by the Grizzlies. It's 3-2 Idaho. Utah skating from right to left as we see it. Yoon shoulder shakes. Now gets to Manning on the left side. He gets to center ice and wraps it around the boards. Asher Donato near Cutlaw will feed it up top to Yoon. Yoon skates towards the high slot. Now directs it to the left side for Manning. Back to Yoon. Yoon shoulder shakes. Now backs to Manning. Manning in the left circle over to Fitz at the near goal line. Back up top to Manning. Manning, hot pass to Yoon. Connects tape to tape. Yoon switches places with Masha Donato as Yoon now shuffles to his left. Yoon's now on the left side, gets the Masha Donato left circle. Masha Donato surveys. Grizzlies patient with their approach. Masha Donato now to the left point. Crowd very quiet here in Idaho Falls. Masha Donato directs it to Yoon. He'll take a righty shot and it goes wide as he went stick side and missed the net. As Utah still up with it. Manning on the right side late in the power play. 20 seconds left over to the far goal line for Messner. It's jabbed away by Cudlu, who feeds it off of the skate of Messner, and the puck exits the zone.
Good patient defense that time by the Steelheads. Their positioning was really good on that kill.
Fairbrother re-enters from the right side, drops it into the corner and chases after it. Gallant trying to get it out in front of the far goal line. Out of the penalty box is Sternshine. On the back check is Shearer. Pokes it away. Boy, James Shearer with a great defensive play. He did that constantly 2 years ago with the Grizzlies, and he's going to be great again this season. Shearer, a defenseman's defenseman, really makes a lot of great decisions. Shearer has the puck. He'll left-handed backhand to Mastrodonato. Up ahead to Gallant over the line. Gallant drops it for Neil Shays in the near corner. Shays surveys, tries to kind of force it in front of the net, and it's tapped off the stick onto the right side. Grizzlies still in the attack zone. As Gallant's over in the far corner, he's trying to get it to Shea, gets double teamed. Puck ends up back with Shea. Right side across to Mastrodonato. One-timer is saved by Thompson. As Mastrodonato with a good look. Shea around the net to the far side, gets pushed by McCollum. Arm is raised by the referee. It's going to be a penalty. Who's it going to be on? Looks like it's going to be on Idaho. McCollum can't believe it, but he gets 2 minutes for slashing, and the Grizzlies are going to be back on the power play 2 minutes into the third period.
Well, yet another opportunity here for the Grizzlies to make something good happen. It hasn't happened very much on the power play. It's been on the penalty kill situation, but a golden opportunity to tie this game up. I really think that, both Messner and Manning have showed the most energy and I think leadership out there. And I think I would put the load on those two.
Briley Wood will take the face off. He's got Shea to his right as Grizzlies win the draw. As Utah back over in the corner as Kabori Dunn gets knocked down. Dashke across to Wood. He's on the left side, back up top to Dashke. As Dashke surveys, dangles. Now he gets it back to the right side for Gallant. Back to Dashke. As he'll get it back to the right side. As dancing around, I believe that's Cole Gallant. Gets up top to Dashke. Dashke high slot. Lefty shot sticked away by Thompson. Dashke gets poked away by Over. Grizzlies keep it in. Shea across to Gallant. Back to Dashke. He's on the left side. Lefty shot is blocked away. Dashke gets it back. He throws it towards Gallant. Pass behind him as Gallant was cutting towards the net. And Idaho gets it and clears it out.
And I really like the way that Dashke and both he and Yoon, which I believe are the their frontline defensemen, the way they have worked, they look really good out there.
Grizzlies re-enter from the right side. Just poked from Wood back to Dashke as Grizzlies McMessner gets it towards the middle. The only guy there was a Steelhead, and they'll saucer it airborne as it helicopters all the way towards Duplessis, who kicks it away back to the near corner. Yoon over towards Manning, back to Yoon, who skates around Utah's net. 50 seconds and counting left in Utah's power plays. We're 3 minutes into the third period. Idaho leads 3-2. Manning over to Mastrodonato, right side, steps over the line, gets double teamed, backhands at the Fitz of the point. Fitz dances around. Idaho jabs at it, and the Steelheads will clear it out. It all goes towards the Utah line. Yoon back in the Grizzlies zone. Will skate down the middle. Yoon crosses center ice. Now he steps over the line. The Colorado College captain 2 years ago. Over to Messner. He gets to the corner from Manning. Manning from one corner to the other. Far side Fitz. Gets up top to Yoon on a soft pass. Across to Messner. Over to Manning. Over to Yoon. He's on the right side. Back to Mastrodonato. Over to Manning, who dances around in the high slot. Skates towards his left. As Manning switches places with Mastrodonato, he gets it towards Fitz at the far near goal line. Trying to get to Messner. It's poked away by Idaho. Puck goes back to neutral ice. And coming out of the penalty box right now is Lyndon McCollum. Successful penalty kill by the Steelheads. And 4 minutes into the third period, still 3-2. Messner skates down the middle. Lefty shot sticked away by Thompson on a low liner. As Idaho clears it out, it got redirected. No icing. There's James Shearer after it. Duplessis behind his net. Forces it to the far side for Fairbrother, who chips it to neutral ice on a backhand pass. Deming gets hit by Armstrong. Puck bounces towards the bench area. McCollum moves it ahead to the Utah line. Grizzlies get it back. Upper over to Armstrong over the line. As Armstrong skates towards the right side, drops it for Fairbrother. Fairbrother backhands it towards the net, and it goes wide off the end boards. Grizzlies' James Shearer extends the stick to try to keep it in, but he couldn't. Shearer, with the long strides, will go all the way back and get it behind Utah's net as both teams will reshuffle the deck personnel-wise. Shearer over to Armstrong in the far side. Armstrong gets around Eric Olson. Armstrong at center ice, left wing pass connects to Upper. Upper skates towards his right now. Armstrong left side shot, saved by Thompson, and he holds on as Craig Armstrong had a pretty good look from the left side, but Thompson makes the stop with 15:03 left in the third.
Yeah, he had a good look, and he also had a nice strong shot there, trying to go top left side, and he just shut the door on him, did Thompson.
Armstrong played in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League last year and had 17 goals and 22 assists. Before that, played in 4 full seasons in the WHL with Prince George and 1 year with Red Deer. As a draw won by Utah, Kate Jensen, left side slot, is blocked away by Wells on a redirection as the shot was going wide anyway. Still heads out to neutral ice. Grizzlies back defensively as Idaho gets to center ice and dumping it in is Stam Sternshine. As behind Utah's net, puck gets up out in front. High slot, Sternshine moves to his left as Kanadi backhands to Eric Olson. Olson, the Stevenson University product, wraps it around the boards. Near corner, Sternshine avoids a check of Jensen as Jensen goes down, centering pass out in front. Olson couldn't quite connect on a one-time tip. As Jensen lifts it high into the air, it's gloved and dropped at center ice. Wells was in the area. Steelheads will wrap it around the wall to the near side. Aragon tried to force it ahead. It bounced off of Rudzinski out to neutral ice. Now Blake Wells lost the puck as he couldn't quite get around McEachern. Both teams will make a line change as Idaho gets the center ice. Rudzinski dumps it in, and he comes off as Duplessis gets to Yoon. Yoon wraps it around the near wall. Cutler gets it neutral ice. He crosses center. He'll force it across to Register. Register around a Skater and Manning. Now Register left side. Shot goes wide as he was looking for the same spot he scored in the second period. Register near corner. Drops it for McEachern. Gets around Fitz. He tries to feed it out in front. Good job by Brian Yoon in boxing out Mark Olver. As Mastrodonato gains center ice and dumps it in, Grizzlies will spread the ice. So do the Steelheads, who gather it behind their net.
Over with his experience is sure a load in front of the goal there. The Grizzlies had their hands full with him.
He knows that that's where the money's made, right there in
Yes,
front
it
of the
is.
net. That's where goals get scored. As Idaho gets the center ice right wing, as Hoffman loses his balance, he collides with Miller. Grizzlies come back the other way. Manning on the attack, steps over the line, gets it back to Yoon. One-timer is blocked away. That shot was going to head wide anyway, as it was towards the right circle. Now Idaho skating from left to right will gather it. 4-on-4. Still heads over the line as Jade Miller over to McCollum. Back to Miller on the give and go. Take a shot and score. Boy, what a beautiful give and go with Miller and McCollum as Miller got it back from McCollum and he just roofed it over Vinny Duplessis. And the Steelheads get some insurance with 13:02 left in the third as they lead 4-2.
You know, you said it. It was beautiful. In fact, when the pass went down low, I thought he was going to go along the boards with it, but he put it right back out. Let's watch this. Here's the initial pass, and then it gets it right back to him and just short side there.
Right over Duplessis' right shoulder as the Steelheads now have a 2-goal lead. 4-2 is the score. As Utah had scored 2 unanswered before Miller finds the back of the net for the second straight day.
You know, really interesting because starting out this third period, I think the Grizzlies really have been outplaying the Steelhead a little bit, but just an opportunity. And, you know, now we're back to a 2-goal contest.
Utah initially won the face-off. Puck is back deep in the Steelhead zone as Idaho still on their own end. Gets a center ice. Pass to the Utah line for Walker connects. Walker over to Sternshine. He's down the middle. He couldn't handle it well enough to get a shot off. Now right point. Shot to score as Trevor Zins fired it. And Duplessis would love to have that one back as it bounced off his glove and into the back of the net. And it's now a 5-2 game.
Yeah, that's one where the goaltender's probably kicking himself because he thought he had a good beat on that and just off the tip of the glove and right into the net.
Hey, thought he had it, but just kind of trickled off the glove and into the back of the net. Zins had 3 goals in 34 games with Idaho last year. Also scored 1 goal with Indy last season. As Duplessis seemed like he had vision. There was a little bit of traffic in front.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was tipped or not. Couldn't really tell from the replay angle there.
Did have a little bit of traffic in the slot while the shot was kind of taken towards Duplessis' left, but it's 5-2 Steelheads. They scored 2 quick ones. As Chambers rolls it along the boards, Duplessis lets it go to the far point. As James Shearer over to Fairbrother, who taps it off the glass. Puck goes high into the air. Right side, it's gloved and dropped. Shearer throws it to Tyson Upper down the middle. Upper with a lefty shot. And it's blocked by the stick of Nick Canati. The puck flies out of play with 12:18 left in the third.
Yeah, with 12 minutes and a little change left, you know, you're 2 goals down. The feeling is you got to press a little bit. 3 goals down. But really, you've got to maintain what you've been doing during the first part of this period because you've been getting some good chances. The passing's been good. You've been the aggressor. Sometimes when you press too much, you make a mistake. You got to play very disciplined hockey.
2 quick goals. Jade Miller making it 4-2, and then Trevor Zins making it 5-2. That's where we stand with 12:19 left in the third. Max Neal will take the draw. He's got Blake Wells to his right. Up top is Shearer and Fairbrother. Aaron Aragon also on the ice. Aragon, the former Steelhead, played in 4 games at the start of last season. As puck ends up in the right point, Idaho gets tripped up, no call. Aragon left side, gets it across the nail, take a shot. And a save by Thompson. Rebound goes towards the backboards. Eric Olson gets it for Idaho as both teams will start to spread the ice. Olson tattoosing off the far boards. Wells gets it back over to Aragon, take a shot. And that one misses wide. Thompson might have gotten a piece of it. As Max Neal over to the far corner, overskates the puck. Chambers will throw it from one corner to the other. Actually hits a stanchion onto Thompson. And Max Neal, some real pushing and shoving. Kanadi and Max Neal tie things up. And it looks like everybody's finding a dance partner. CJ Walker has a Grizzly, dragging them down. And somebody's getting after Max Neal. The linesmen step in as Kanadi and Neal have some words.
I really thought Neal had a goal that time when he got that pass. I think Aragon was the one who passed it to him. You know, it just, I don't know how that Thompson made that save, but he did. And, you know, you get a good chance like that, you get a little frustrated because the goaltender makes a good save, or perhaps you don't get everything on, you know, the puck. But then that scrum, and you can see some frustrations kind of come through now with the Grizzlies.
A lot of that out in front of the net. Everybody trying to win that real estate. Eric Olson's back in the box for Idaho. For the Grizzlies, Max Neal and Aaron Aragon both take a seat in the penalty box. And it looks like, well, just based on numbers and basic math, looks like the Steelheads will get a power play out of this.
We joked earlier that maybe that's the best thing for the Grizzlies.
That's right. So referee John Lindner's talking it over the scores table. Lindner, well, he's trying to lay the law down all day long and trying to keep peace. And with this Mountain Division rival, hey, every now and then you might just have to let him go. Just like, all right, you two get after it, and then let's just play hockey.
Right.
It's almost like you kind of let that heat kind of bubble right there on the surface, and then you just kind of continually have some stuff stir up.
And it's very unique in the fact that these teams see each other so often during the year.
Yeah.
You know, with the Western Division like it is, and the geographic proximity of these two teams, they are going to see each other more often. So, you know, over time, there's going to be some inner rivalries going on between players, and sometimes that spills over on the ice.
Even if it doesn't show up to start the year, eventually somebody's going to get upset at somebody.
Yes.
So it looks like it's going to be a 2-minute power play for Idaho. Max Neal's 2 minutes is on the scoreboard clock. I believe Aragon and Olson got matching roughings as Grizzlies win the draw. Fairbrother hits it off a stanchion. The puck goes all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. Stanislav Demon will skate around his net. Boy, the ice surface looks outstanding here in Idaho Falls. One of the better surfaces by ECHL standards that you'd see. Masha Donato at the Idaho line dumps it in as the Steelheads will spread the ice. It's Idaho 5, Utah 2. Grizzlies do have a 29-22 shot advantage. Idaho over the offense line, centering pass connect, shot to score. Karan to McEachran to the back of the net. And it's now 6-2 as McEachran really roofed it right over Duplessis.
It was a beautiful shot.
6-2 was the final score last night, and we got an identical score here as it was a 3-2 game going into the third period. 3 unanswered by the Steelheads, including a power play tally.
Yeah, the feed was perfect too, and just roofed it right in the perfect place. Duplessis came over, and that top shelf was open, and he just lifted it right into it.
Couldn't put it into a better spot.
No, he couldn't. You mentioned the ice. Shout out to Eric Hudson, who's our general manager for the Spud Kings. When this building first opened, like anything else, you kind of struggle a little bit getting that perfect temperature. And this year they've really worked hard. So Eric and the crew here have really got a really good ice in the last few games. It's been really nice.
Riley Wood left side fires a shot that goes wide. He went glove side on Thompson, but just missed the net. Yeah, the ice surface playing about as well as I would see in any ECHL game. The ice has been outstanding. As Idaho in the attack zone, right side, Nick Kanadi will force it to the corner to Walker. Walker gets pushed by Dunn as the glass sways back and forth. Svetlikov tries to hack it away with Cole Gallant as Gallant and Svetlikov battle. 2-on-2 of scrum over in the corner. As Walker trying to break free. Dunn still has a hold of him as Dunn gets a stick held up by Walker. Svetlikov right side shot blocked by Gallant. As Kanadi around the net. Dunn battles with McEachran. And the puck ends up squirting in front of the net where it's taken by Briley Wood. Wood skates down the middle. Long strides. 1-on-3 across the center ice. And he'll saucer it in. Thompson stops at the near goal line. before it gets to the end boards. Halfway through the third period. And what was a 3-2 game is now turned into 6-2 as the Steelheads got goals from Jade Miller. He scored and a couple others after that. As McEachern had the most recent goal, making it 6-2, scoring on the power play on a pass from Karan. Action in the Grizzlies zone as Chambers loses it. Dashke to Messner. Rink wide pass. Hippity hops towards center ice. Miller will throw it back in. As chasing after it's Dashke. As Dashke avoids Hoffman's check. Messner crossing center ice. Gets over to the right side. Now back towards Messner. Take a shot. He scores. Tic-tac-toe. They worked it sideways to the middle, back to the right side across to Messner. And it's now 6-3.
Really, from our view here on we're at the opposite end of the ice in the corner. You could see that develop. And what a beautiful two passes there to set up Messner for that shot. Here's the replay.
Messner is out there with Upper and Armstrong. It was just Messner to Upper, back to Armstrong on the right side, then back to Messner. Great passing by the Grizzlies.
We see the shot again. Look at this. Just over the shoulder there.
Right over the right shoulder, stick side on Thompson.
In fact, Thompson got a little piece of it, but not enough to stop the shot.
So it's now a 6-3 game as Messner scored 2 goals. As Cutler has it at new tries for Idaho. As he'll throw a blue line to blue line pass that connects with Register. Register skates towards the left point. Routine lefty wrist shot is gathered by Duplessis as he catches it around the Grizzlies logo in the front of his jersey. 6-3 Steelheads with 9:12 left in the third period.
I'm glad that I actually say something during the broadcast and it comes to be, because I really felt that the way Messner and Manning played, that they really were the keys. And they're, Messner getting in goal, but he started that with the initial pass over to the right side.
They've really been stars, not only in the preseason games, but all week in practice they've really stood out. And they're poised to have big years. As Grizzlies, they're in their own zone, left side. Blake Wells gets it across. The puck hipping hops off a Neal's stick. As McEachern at center ice gets back checked by Wood, but McEachern strong with the puck. He'll backhand it in deep and get off the ice. The Steelheads will reshuffle the deck and get 5 fresh bodies on the ice. As Fairbrother, left wing pass to Neal, as Max Neal gets to center ice left wing, steps over the line, dumps it in as he gets around the Steelhead and Sam Sternshine. Sternshine missed most of the year with an injury. We get a trip. Is it going to be a penalty as a Steelhead went down? And whether it's a trip or a slash or a hook, looks like a penalty is going to be called as John Lindner will skate towards the scores table. Hooking is going to be the call, and it's going to be on the Grizzlies. Max Neal will serve 2 minutes.
Yeah, not what the Grizzlies need, but, there's a difference. This is my first time, really calling a game or helping to call a game and watching the two teams. But when you watch people, you can see great players. There's a difference between a player that can play great and then a player that has leadership that makes people on the line better. Messner's one of those people.
Yeah.
You can just tell by watching the way he plays. Manning the same way.
And they make everybody on their line better.
Exactly. And you can tell that.
Yep. Pretty easy to spot, and those two have it. Idaho wins the draw. They're in the attack zone as Walker over to Kanadi, right side, as Kanadi dangles back and forth. Now he skates towards his left. He's in the high slot. Rodzinski, one-timer, misses wide. And the Grizzlies will clear it out. Max Neal's in the box, 2 minutes for hooking. 8:15 and counting left in the third. Idaho leads 6-3 as the Steelheads have 6 goals on 24 shots. Idaho back deep in their own zone. Rodzinski out there. Not normally the power play unit the Steelheads would see. They don't have Hank Crone, A.J. White, or Ty Pelton-Bice today. Those 3 will be instrumental to their power play during the regular season. Svetlikov skates towards the right side. Very quiet crowd here at Mountain America Center, just taking it all in. Right side, Hoffman up top to Rodzinski. He'll force to his left for Kanadi. He'll take a shot that goes over the crossbar and off the glass. As Hoffman will get it towards Kanadi. Nick Kanadi in the left side, shadowed by Dunn. Over to Walker at the far goal line. Walker skates towards the left circle towards his right. He'll take a shot that's blocked by Jensen's stick. As Shea hit Hoffman with a high stick. Referee didn't spot it. As referee makes his explanation as to why he didn't make a call. Fans wanted the high stick as Hoffman got hit in the face by Neil Shea, but it was just one of those. Shea was just trying to scoop it out. And
yeah, it was a follow-through on the shot or the clear.
Hoffman got it. Might have been his own stick that got him.
Yeah, I tell you what, that didn't feel good.
No, it usually doesn't. There's a reason why hockey players don't have any teeth. Grizzlies throw it all the way deep into the Steelhead zone.
Well, there's a reason why this old man, when he plays in the adult league, has a mask.
Very, very smart. Idaho in the attack zone. McEachern over to Karan. Back to McEachern. Over to Karan. Gets to the near goal line for Over. Over, sharp angled shot. Hits off a Duplessis. Over battles with Dashke. Well, it looks like that's going to be a high stick on Mark Over as Dashke kind of wore the wood or metal or whatever the sticks are made of these days. So that'll do it for Idaho's power play. Just 8 seconds left in the power play, so the Grizzlies will get a power play after 8 minutes worth of 4-on-4 time.
Yeah, short 4-on-4. But the good thing for the Grizzlies is that faceoff is going to come down to their offensive end. And so perhaps with that 4-4, if they can win the draw back and get some open ice space perhaps and get something going, then quickly get that power play.
Grizzlies coaches communicating with Neal as to what they want him to do when he comes out of the box. Mick Messner is going to take the Dries on hat trick watch. He's got 2 goals this afternoon. .6:44 left in the third period. It's 6-3 Steelheads. Utah wins the draw. Brian Yoon on the left side. Over to Masho Donato. Masho Donato, left side, will slide it to the left circle for Messner. Back to Masho Donato. Kneels out of the box and skates to the bench. Masho Donato across to Brian Yoon. Fitz enters the fray as Fitz will skate towards the near goal line. Masho Donato, righty shot is blocked, and the puck goes all the way out to center ice. Grizzlies reset. Yoon back in the Grizzlies zone. Over to Masho Donato. Make that Manning. Manning skates down the middle, across the center ice. He skates down the middle, steps over the line, and veers off to the left as he'll dump it off the backboards. Fitz will one-hand it to the far corner. Yoon accepts it as he hustled after it. He gets double-teamed in the corner, does Yoon. Messner out of the pile. Gets up top to Masho Donato. Across to Manning, all alone. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Thompson. Rebound goes back to Utah. Manning over to Masho Donato. High slot. He gets to Yoon on the right side. Yoon directs it to Messner. Back to Yoon. As Yoon forces it to Masho Donato. Across to Manning. Luke Manning, left side, across to Fitz. Shot saved by Thompson on one-timer. Boy, Thompson's been outstanding for Idaho today. Masho Donato across to Yoon. Back towards Messner. He'll take a shot. Saved by Thompson. Grizzlies continue to hack away. Oh, the whistle blew. The puck was still alive. As the referee lost track of the whistle. Puck ended up with Masho Donato, but the whistle blew. And that stopped play with 5:33 left in the third.
Yeah, he lost sight of the puck. He thought it was underneath the goaltender who was sprawled out there. And Masho Donato is really, along with Manny, you get those two on the ice at the same time, and there's some energy and there's a lot of hockey IQ. And unfortunate for the Grizz, of course, here because, the puck went in the back of the net, but from where the referee was in the corner, he couldn't see the puck, and it did look like probably from his angle that the puck was frozen.
Kind of a tough break for the Grizzlies there. There's a little bit of a conversation out in front of Thompson. Both teams cease and desist and head to their respective benches.
And you see it went right under the pad and just trickled out, and so the referee was behind here, and that's all he saw.
Messermeyer just kind of jabbed it away from Thompson. Sporting free there for Masho Donato, who was on the left side. Grizzlies change up skaters. Bradley Wood takes the draw. He wins it. Derek Dashke at a neutral ice over to Gallant, as Gallant will skate around Duplessis' net. Duplessis, I thought, was going to wear number 34. He's wearing number 35. As Dashke out to neutral ice, so I have to adjust the roster later this week. Shea, left wing pass connects to Wells. Wells trying to get back to Dashke. Idaho took it away. As that's Hoffman, who's played a good game. Hoffman tried to dump it in deep, and Wood batted it away. Left wing, Gallant over the Idaho line. Will skate around the Idaho net. As Trevor Zins delivers a hit on Gallant, divorcing him from the puck, as Idaho will skip it all the way towards Duplessis, who gathers it at the near goal line. 5 seconds left in the Grizzlies' power play as Wood steps over the line. Idaho clears it back out. And the Steelhead comes out of the box, and that's Mark Olver, the 36-year-old with 74 games of NHL experience. Kabori done behind his net as we got 4:33 and counting left in the third. It's the Steelhead 6 and the Grizzlies 3. Dunn crosses center ice, dumps it in as Utah gets double-teamed. Tyson Upper is looking over his right shoulder. Thompson, the goaltender, as Grizzlies skate along the goal line onto Thompson. It's poked away by Idaho. Steelheads get to center ice, and Canadi will skip it in as Duplessis drops it for Dunn, who's behind Utah's goaltender as the Grizzlies skate from right to left here in the third period. As Dunn skates down the middle, moves it to Neal. Neal backhands it towards the Steelheads bench for Tyson Upper, who dumps it into the near corner. We get a whistle as Tyson Upper in a conversation as Idaho. Nick Canadi was just feeding him lefts, kind of left crosses with his glove. As that was near the Steelheads bench at neutral ice.
Sort of like, of course, Canadi trying to get something going there, but I like the way he plays on the defensive end. And you've mentioned his name several times tonight, with outstanding play. And
that seems to be normal. Nick Canadi just continues to show up for the Steelheads.
Yeah, he's you can just tell watching from an eye up in the sky here, that's a quality player. He's got a good head on him.
Draw's going to be at neutral ice. Steelheads territory near Idaho's bench. 3:55 left in the third. Grizzlies do have the shot edge, 35-26, but the Steelheads have a lead. It was 3-2 going into the third period. Steelheads have outscored the Grizzlies 3-1 in the frame. Idaho wins the draw. Canadi throws to the center ice logo, picked off by Manning. Now to Mastrodonato. Right side shot is blocked away by Thompson. Mastrodonato has really showed up here tonight. He displays an outstanding shot. He's going to score quite a few goals for the Grizzlies this year. Scrum over in the near corner of the Steelhead zone as Manning skates along the goal line towards the net. Idaho cuts it off and takes away the puck. Steelheads 3-on-3 over the line. As centering pass connects, shot goes wide. As the shot was taken by Chambers as Cron fed a good centering pass to him. Cron has the puck on the right side, skates towards his left. He'll tattoo it off the far boards. And a lefty shot is blocked by Fitz, is sticking out of play. That shot was taken by Stanislav Demon, who played last year in this league with Allen, Florida, and Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I think Mastrodonato, as you've mentioned his name a lot, he's had a strong game, but particularly in this third period, I think he's been the dominant player on both ends of the ice. And so, I think you're right. He's going to score a few goals this year.
He's going to run into a few, and with the way he can create his own shot, it's not just somebody else setting him up, but he could set himself up at times. Shot from the left side, redirection, a score.
That was impressive.
Trevor Zins took the shot. Almost looked like he was trying to do it as it bounced off the Karan's skate.
Yeah.
And into the back of the net as Idaho kicks the extra point here on this NFL Sunday, and they've taken a 7-3 lead.
Well, whether it was on purpose to score the goal or whether it was a pass that just happened to go on in, it was very effective. And that's what you happen when you create a lot of problems in front of the net. You can see that, right off there.
Either kicked off a Karan skate or off a Grizzly.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see it. Let's see. Still couldn't tell exactly what happened, but regardless.
When I saw it live, I thought it kicked off a Karan skate, but it might have been a Grizzlies. Karan was in the area. Zins did skate to the bench first to celebrate with his teammates as if he was the one. Left side shot is blocked away. Shot by Tyson Upper on the left side. Grizzlies in the attack zone. Less than 3 minutes left. Brian Yoon, right point, righty shot. And a glove save about shoulder high by Thompson.
Yeah, good opportunity for Yoon there because he had a screen and Thompson was just able to look around it and glove it down.
Grizzlies at times have done a good job getting traffic out in front of the net. Idaho is usually one of those teams that does a good job battling in front of their own net to make sure you don't get those redirection type goals. Dashke left side shot is blocked. Boy, Thomas Karan's been outstanding the 2 games of this preseason for Idaho. He's going to be a great glue guy, one of those guys that plays a complete game for the Steelheads this season. Last year he was at Norfolk and played that sort of game. Grizzlies deep in their own zone as Dashke to the left side, looks to his right. Dashke will advance it as he throws the north-south pass to Galan at the Idaho line. Steelheads get it back as the puck rolls along the far boards. As Gallant will hustle after it. He skates along the far goal line, tries to chip it out in front. Idaho pokes it back to the point as the Grizzlies are in the attack zone. As Idaho comes up with it, Sternshine will backhand it all the way to the Utah line where it's gathered by Dunn. Blue line to blue line pass to Wells, taps off of his stick and rolls along the wall. Canadi near side will tap it off the wall. Neal in the area. Less than 2 minutes left in the third period. Idaho leads 7-3. The Steelheads have scored 4 goals here in the third. Idaho over the line as Kay Jensen one-hands it ahead. It's taken by C.J. Walker. His shot is blocked as Walker gets it back. Tried to filter it out in front, but the pass went right towards Blake Wells, who will ice it. No icing on the plays. Grizzlies will sneak in a line change. Idaho deep in their own zone with it with 1:35 left in the third. Steelheads get to the right side. Sternshine shuffles to his right for Kanadi. Kanadi trying to get it back to Sternshine, cutting towards the net. Now Svetlikov. Slot shot is blocked by Fairbrother about 5 feet in front of the crease. They'll throw it to the left side. Kanadi keeps it in. Kanadi, Svetlikov, as he dangles. Now gets it towards the middle for Rodzinski. Shot kick saved by Duplessis. Rebound goes to Manning as Manning gets pinned to the boards by Caron. Puck squirts towards Fairbrother. Skates behind Duplessis' net. Now to James Shearer. He gets to Manning near the Grizzlies bench. Manning will cross center ice. Drops for Mastrodonato, who steps over the line 1-on-4. Mastrodonato lays for Fitz. Across off the boards for Manning as Manning collides with Zins. Zins' helmet goes flying. Zins goes down. Zins has got long hair as Idaho will get it ahead. The hitting starting to pick up here in the final minute. Brian Yoon will race it down to the Grizzlies zone far side. He'll tap it off the glass. It goes all the way deep into the Steelhead zone as Mark Olver will gather it. Icing is on the Grizzlies.
We haven't had too many icing
calls
here in this period.
Haven't seen too many of them.
So that was really a hard shoulder that was delivered there and dislodged the helmet.
It's almost like he was knowing that Zins was there and he was going to be the aggressor. 38.2 seconds left. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 37-28, but Idaho has 7 goals on 28 shots. Grizzlies win the draw. Yoon tries to clear it out. It stays in. Left point. Lefty shot. Glove saved by Duplessis about knee high. That shot was taken by Roman Rudzinski, who's a native of Quebec, Blainville, 6'1", 190 pounds, 22 years old. 32 seconds left. Some of the fans started to head for the exits here at Mountain America Center. Gallant will take the draw. He wins it against Jade Miller. Up ahead to Briley Wood. 28 seconds left. Over to Neil Shea, who steps over the line. Shea across the Wood. One-timer is sticked away by Nick Kanadi. As Briley Wood up top for Dashke. He dangles in the left point. He fires it off the backboards. Cole Gallant gathers it. Skeets around the net to the far side. As there's 10 seconds left up top. Yoon over towards Gallant. Gallant skates towards the far corner. Hoffman nearby as Gallant around to the near corner. 2 seconds left. Dashke trying to break the puck free, and that will do it. As it was a 3-2 game heading into the third period, but the Steelheads scored 4 to the Grizzlies 1 in the frame. As we got ourselves a football score to end things as Idaho gets a 7-3 victory. Fans seem to have a good time. Grizzlies did have some moments where they were pretty good. Mick Messner had 2 goals. There was just too much Steelheads, and it was a very balanced attack, kind of at the core of what Idaho usually is offensively. And without some of their big guns and Ty Pelton Bice, A.J. White, and Hank Crone, they were able to still put together a pretty good effort. And it does look like we're going to have an overtime session regardless, either overtime or a shootout, as this is pretty much for entertainment purposes, but it's going to be a 7-3 Idaho victory. Last night, it was 6-2 Idaho getting the wins. The Steelheads with 13 goals in 2 games. Looks like we'll have a shootout here as fans will, some of them are heading for the exits, but I think both teams are going to kind of work on their shootout
it's
type
actually
of procedures.
A great idea and a great way to finish the game. It allows the teams to practice that. I don't think the fans know that. That's the problem. Otherwise, they'd be glued, and you can see some of the fans behind the benches. They're standing, but they're staying there, understanding that something's going on here. But yeah, really, I think preseason, you don't know how much to take away from them. Both these teams, I think, have some positives to take away from this. Very impressed with the penalty killing for Utah. I think that take away the 2 shorthanded goals. I mean, but still, they didn't allow a lot of golden opportunities on the power play. I think where they struggled more was on the 4-on-4 and the 5-on-5 situations in the second and third periods, where they were strong on that in the first period. But, I think both teams, obviously, you mentioned it before, these Steelheads, very impressive on the offensive end, and they're going to be a force, I think, in the division.
I guess instead of the shootout, we'll just have 3-on-3. Looks like we'll play overtime like we did last night. It's going to be Luke Manning taking the draw with Keaton Mastrodonato and Brian Yoon. For Idaho, Connor McEachern is going to take the face-off. See Stanislav Demon out there, and and Thomas Cron as well for Idaho. As Utah wins the draw, they skate from left to right. Idaho wins 7-3, but we're beginning an overtime session here as Brian Yoon back in the Grizzlies zone. Very quiet crowd here at Mountain America Center. Over to Mastrodonato across the center ice. He'll step over the line, veer off to the left. Mastrodonato will tap it off the far boards to Yoon, across to Manning, right circle. Manning fakes to Mastrodonato, stops in the corner, pivots, now gets it back up top to Mastrodonato. Will skate back to center ice. Mastrodonato now at the Utah line as the Grizz skate from left to right here in overtime. As Luke Manning will skate in. Yesterday, I kind of compared it to the TV show Whose Line Is It Anyway? The show where everything's made up and the points don't matter, and overtime really doesn't matter too much, but we're getting some work in. Grizzlies skate in, long-range pass. Manning skates in. Shot saved by Thompson.
It's going to be a penalty.
Going to be a penalty, and for the second straight night, the Grizzlies are going to get an overtime power play. Yesterday, Grizzlies got a power play in overtime after Idaho got caught with too many men. Today, it's a holding call, and Thomas Caron goes to the box. Caron had 79 penalty minutes last year for Norfolk. Norfolk led the league by far in penalty minutes.
Well, he's leading the team this year in penalties so far. But, you mentioned the crowd. It's kind of interesting because during the Spud King games, it's raucous. And so I don't know if it's because there's not a lot of allegiance, if you will, for either one of these teams here. They're just interested to see professional hockey.
A crowd was pretty split today as Utah wins the draw. As Gallant over to Neil Shays on the right side. He gets up top to Dashke. Dashke will shuffle towards his left. Now he gets back to his right and over to Shea in the right point. Shea skates towards his left, switching places with Dashke. Shea to Dashke. Pass goes tape to tape. He's on the right side as Dashke dance around the right side across to Gallant. Gallant will shuffle towards his right and he'll fire it into the far corner. Briley Wood gets hit in the back, but strong with the puck as he gets it towards Dashke. Dashke settles. He's in the far corner. He gets up top to Shea across to Gallant. Gallant on the right side dangles, trying to get it back to Shea. Fumbled it. Gallant gets it back, skates behind his net, gets pushed by Rodzinski, but gets it to Shea in the near corner. Centering pass to Gallant goes wide as Gallant couldn't get all of it. Good idea, though, as both teams make a line change. The Steelheads clear it into the Grizzlies zone.
I'm really impressed with Dashke's work in the corner there.
He's going to be a good one for the Grizzlies. He had an outstanding year with Kalamazoo. It's his second full season as a pro. Fits to Mastrodonato. He's on the left side. He dangles the puck back and forth, and he'll filter it over to Manning. He's on the right side. Back up top to Dashke. Over to Mastrodonato. Over to Dashke, who fakes a one-timer and gets over to Manning on kind of a soft pass as Dashke didn't get all of it. Now to Fitz at the near goal line. Back up top to Manning. Over to Mastrodonato. One-timer. He didn't get much on it as it goes towards the end boards. Fitz gets the puck. Fitz to Manning. He's on the right side. Manning trying to get to Fitz, but fanned on it. Manning over to Mastrodonato. He's on the left side across to Dashke. Dashke up top to Manning. Over to Dashke. Dashke is on the right side as we have 2:25 left in overtime. 25 seconds or 20 seconds left in the power play for Utah. Mastrodonato right side. Fires towards the net, and it's blocked away by Kanadi's stick. Fitz gets up top Manning as Dashke is replaced by Yoon. Fitz far side over to Manning. Now up top to Yoon, who replaced Dashke. Over to Fitz in front of the net. Shot saved by Thompson. And Trevor Zenz, far side, will sail it all the way down. Out of the box as Caron will skate 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Grizzlies back deep in their own zone, skating from left to right. As Brian Yoon, blue line to blue line pass is tapped away by Demon. As Idaho up with the puck. As they'll backhand it towards the Idaho line. As Brendan Hoffman, referee John Lindner getting out of the way. As Stan Demon gets it in the left side. Demon will drop it back for Hoffman. Now to the right side for Caron. Caron skates towards his left. Now he'll step over the line. Caron loses his balance. Almost did the splits as he was skating towards the left circle. Fairbrother gathers it for Utah. Right wing pass connects. Grizzlies will get it back to Fairbrother. He crosses center ice, and he'll whip it around the boards. C.J. Walker gets hit by Tyson Upper. Those guys battle deep in the Steelhead zone along the corner. Messner hacking away. Now, if Messner does score here, would that be considered a hat trick? I don't know. As Demon gets it to C.J. Walker on the left side. He'll take a righty shot that's blocked away by Shearer. And Shearer did score the game winner in overtime yesterday. It was still 6-2 Idaho, but he scored the overtime goal on a power play. 53 seconds left in the overtime session. 7-minute overtimes in the ECHL as opposed to the 5 minutes in the NHL, which certainly means more games end in overtime. As Grizzlies skate in, Nil Shea, sharp-angled shot, hits the side of the net as he was skating along the far side. Stanislav Demon over towards McEachern. Connor McEachern will skeet towards the corner, back towards Svetlikov, who couldn't reach it. As puck ends up back towards the middle, Trevor Zen says to go between his legs. He was looking for a one-time attempt in the left wing. 24 seconds left. Kanadi races right wing, crossing center ice. Now he's over the line. Kanadi skates towards the far corner and around the net with speed. Kanadi back to the left point. He'll drop it off. Connor McEachern, the former Wichita Thunder skater, signing pass out in front. Shot goes wide. Good job by Kay Jensen, cutting Svetlikov. 5 seconds left in overtime. Grizzlies will skate to neutral ice, and that will do it for the 7-minute overtime. I wonder if that means we'll have a shootout afterwards. Both teams kind of looking it over. Both teams are coming out of the bench area, so it looks like that will do it. As Idaho comes away with a 7-3 preseason victory. The Steelheads win both preseason games. It was 6-2 yesterday, and today was 7-3.
Just noticed Kanadi is a Mississauga, Ontario native. I used to live just down the road from Mississauga. Of course, Mississauga has about 1 million people in it.
Yeah. Hard to meet all million of them.
Well, yeah, I wasn't that close to. But I lived in Milton, Ontario for a couple of years. So.
Well, Scott, it was a lot of fun being here and a lot of fun.
I'm glad let me have the opportunity to be on board with you. So hopefully we'll do this next year.
I hope
plan
so.
on it.
Let's just plan on next season.
We'll just tell everybody we're going to do it.
Yeah, and then we'll come here next year and we'll do it.
Yeah, that'll work.
Hopefully things go well with the Idaho Falls Spud Kings this season. And for both teams, are obviously looking for a postseason bid. The Steelheads are normally in the playoffs, and the Grizzlies looking to reach the playoffs after missing last season. That'll wrap things up here from Mountain America Center. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast and not necessarily the final outcome. For Scott Bradford, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is. The final score, Idaho 7, Utah 3. The regular season opener will be on Friday, October 18th at Idaho Central Arena. Coverage begins at 6:50, face-off about 7:10. And we hope to see you in Boise. If not, we got the game on Flow Sports for the video feed and the audio stream, which will be on the Grizzlies YouTube channel. Hope you have a good night. I'm Tyson Whiting, and I'm just pursuing my dream. You've been listening to the Utah Grizzlies Audio Network.